me just quickly start this. Let me just start first. Okay, and if you're on the YouTube, let me know if you guys can hear now. If it's coming through loud and clear, let me know what is happening. There we go. Chat on YouTube, let me know if it's working, please. That would be awesome. Sorry guys, I've been a bit under the weather, so I'm having a lot more like fluids. So I keep needing the men's room. Let's get Andrew up. We need Andrew up for the conversation as well. Prashant, thanks for joining us. Anything you want to add? Prashant, are you there? Okay, guess not. Okay, let me bring some people up. I'm gonna have to go to the men's room, so I'm just gonna have to leave the space or something because I need to hit the men's room and obviously nobody's here. Let's go to Zarkun. Zarkun, thanks for joining us. How are you? SM Zarkun, is there anything you want to add? Brilliant, everyone can hear. Okay, so what's the point of coming back on space? I'd rather just do interviews then. Let's remove this guy. Don't request on my space if you don't want to talk. Just want to say hi to Gigi. Gigi, hope you're doing well. How are you?
Hi, Suleiman. Hi, everyone.
It's been a while, Gigi. What's going on?
Yes, my account was suspended, and I just, for the first time, I can hear you guys. I mean, I heard you. I followed you on YouTube, but I think the militant monarchist got me, and they
Yeah, they do that.
complained. Yes, and finally I fought, and I got my account back, but I've been admiring your work. This is my new account. I'm still working on the other one. But anyway, I appreciate what you're doing. I just wanted to tell you now that I heard other people are not talking. I was just thinking that how far have we come from all that happened since late February, and where are we right now? I cannot be prouder of Iranian government right now. I left Iran, as you guys remember, in protest at one point, but I am really proud of what they're doing. And I hear many people say that they are going to leave Lebanon. Many people say that some of them are trying to enrich themselves. There is always few people in every government that may do that. I'm not completely dismissing that, but what I see, how they stand for Lebanon, make me proud as an Iranian that is not in Iran anymore. And I hope that we really, I think what Iran did, and I don't know what conversation we were right now, because I just got this account and I was so excited to talk to you guys, gives me one hope that if they go after people like me, that I'm nobody, I cannot change anything in the world. I am just talking to you guys. If they go after me, meaning you're doing a big work, Suleiman, congratulations. If they go and suspend my account, and they may do this one too, that means that our voices actually matter. And that's very important. Keep doing what you're doing. Whether I stay connected or not, I don't know, because it has been really tough to get them to unsuspend my account. But keep doing what you're doing, because it really matters what we're doing, what you're doing, in fact. Anyway, I don't know if the war is going to end or not. I think it's going to be a yo-yo. as it was for the last 100 and plus days. But all we can do is just speak and unveil the truth, because truth is hidden with the propaganda that that they're trying to impose on us. I'm not at all even mad at the monarchists that in your space, if you remember, called me name because I was just saying killing children is wrong, bombarding in a school is wrong. I'm pro hope, I'm pro humanity, I'm pro a day that everybody can live safely and in peace in the place of their choosing. If someone like me is a threat, then imagine the rest of the people. But I'm not mad at all of those monarchists too, because I think they are the product of the propaganda that they subject themselves to. And some of them are even my relative living in England and California and everywhere. They don't know better. They are just consuming one part of news, which is a news focused on making them brainwash and not to see the reality. Anyway, I don't want to go ranting. I know you were going to the washroom, and I thought what I can do is I give my service to you to thank you for what you're doing, Suleiman. When you're back, you can silence me. I'm curious.
Thanks for that, Gigi. You're a lifesaver. But a question for you: what is your thoughts about what's going on now in terms of the deal? I know there's some disagreement in Iran about whether there should be a deal or not. What's your kind of perspective on that?
Well, I think everybody knows, you know, I know, and everybody that is following different news. And by the way, I'm not just listening to one thing. I dissect the reality from many different sources that we receive, especially from people that I'm still in touch with within Iran. I think the Iranian majority of Iranian are behind the government. Majority, not all of them, and they are helping, and they are hopeful that this would be a victory once and for all. And so far, we know that the Iranian government won. That's undisputable. We know that Qatari went and offered 7 billion of their own money instead of the 7 billion that is in sanction by because of U.S. sanction is kept in Qatari's bank that came from Korea. We know they went and they offered that. We know that Dubai, I mean Emirat, Abu Dhabi and Dubai people and the rest of them, they all they offered money. They understand now where Iran stands, and I'm proud of Iran not only because of what they achieved, but also to show the world they're not the aggressor. They could have demolished Dubai easily, easily, but they didn't. They're not there to kill people. I have a feeling, that's just my feeling, that Iran now has nuclear weapon. Iranian inside Iran feel that, but they won't use it. It's not, they're not going to kill people with nuclear weapon. What's going to happen next? I think the whole ceasefire, the whole peace deal was just to have a space for a SpaceX IPO on Friday, not to go bust. I think all of that happened, and I think they paid Iranian governments some billions of dollars not to attack. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not. I'm not anybody. I'm just nobody. I'm just listening to news as you guys are much more informed. But I think Iranian government at this point think of how to protect Iranian first, obviously, Iran sovereignty, and also Lebanon and Gaza, and I'm proud of them for doing that. I don't think people say that they will drop Lebanon. I don't think they would. Obviously, as you know, Lebanese government came out and they said we don't want Iran protection. They're all the people that are paid inside Lebanese government. But I think this eventually, Suleiman, I think this although it was painful for Iranian, although 160 two Iranian little kids, girls were killed, which still hurts me, hurts my heart. But this is not wasted. I think that that wakened many people up. I think Israel cannot go back. I mean, Zionist Israel, there are many good people inside Israel too. But Zionist Israel cannot go back and continue doing what they're doing without repercussion. We saw what happened in Albania recently. We see every day. My son was in Paris. Every day there is manifestation. In Italy, there is every day there is manifestation. European, I wish Manco was here so I could talk to him. European approval for for America as an ally is less than 10% now, which is historic. It's not even conceivable that European people think less than 10% of them think of US as an ally. These are changes that this war created. There is a thing we call, I think, both in there is a thing we call event study, like things that you study the situation before an event, and when the event happened, you study what happened after the event. I think this war with Iran is a big event that changed the world. We still don't know how it changed the world, but it, in my view, changed the world completely. I think America will not be a superpower anymore. We all know that. I think Iran will have a very strong position in Middle East, which they always had, but there was not recognized. And I think GCC learned their lesson very, very well. And I think Iran, by not destroying GCC, actually showed that Iran can be a protector of GCC. And it should be. So, in my view, all in all, there would be positive income out at the end of the tunnel when we turn this thing over. And I know from where I am, Carney went to Europe, as you know, this week, and I'm reading what he was putting online. He said that Europe is the next power and leadership will come from European. I know in your space that many people say Europe is demolished, Europe is finished, but I don't think so. I think Europe will come strong out of this because they didn't side with Trump. They didn't follow his lead, even the paid politician in Europe, except for some of them in England that you're dealing with, unfortunately. This is my 2 cents, Suleiman. As I said, I'm glad to hear you live on this space. I give you the mic.
Appreciate you, Gigi. Guys, make sure you retweet the space, reshare the space. There is smart news as well. Let me send the mic to Andrew. I don't know if he's. I don't understand what's going on. And I've kind of lost the news now, damn. But basically, just to kind of summarize it, because I've lost it now. The spokesperson for the supreme leader in Iran essentially said, a response to Israel's coming, 0 hour for Israel is coming. So I found it now, brilliant. Okay, I can actually read it rather than. So he said, a miscalculation in Beirut has exhausted patience. The order has been given. 0 hour is approaching and launchers stand ready. It is a vital part of resistance axes. If the flame of provocation in Lebanon are not extinguished, Hormuz and Bab el-Mandab, the region's two strategic gateways, could place severe pressure on your economic lifelines. He also said, yeah, no, he just repeat the same thing, and that's it. So that's what he said. So that's quite interesting. That girl, thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for giving me the mic. Nice to see you, Suleiman. Beatrix holding it down. Guys, please retweet the space, hit the like button on the stream if you're watching so we can always get this out because you guys are bringing the news as it is and as fast and everything full truth. I mean, to me, the whole thing about with I just kind of wish Iran wouldn't say even what they're going to do and just do it. I know I'm sitting here comfortably in my living room making such a statement. I get it. The word ceasefire, I wish people can maybe get it out of their mind frame or whatever, because Israel doesn't believe in there is no ceasefire. Okay. They make it very clear. Every time there's supposedly good negotiations, they bomb Lebanon. And it's starting to get disgusting. Like, it can't be that we can tell that this is a pattern and we know it's going to happen. It'd be one thing if this was just like inanimate objects that was like being destroyed. That's people being killed constantly. Israel does not have a right to do this at all. This whole Israel has a right to exist thing, it's long gone. It's over. No more discussions. There's no need for negotiations. Iran negotiating with America is gonna, to me, it makes, again, I know I'm saying I'm not hating on Iran. I'm not, but understand how foolhardy it is, because there's no control here. We're not a sovereign nation. Trump cannot really make decisions because they want Trump to stay in this war, and Trump is going to stay in this war. So all of this other stuff is just a joke, and it's just prolonging what needs to be done. And we all know what I mean when I say what needs to be done. Like, enough of this. If Israel can bomb just willy-nilly like that, they need to be shut down. That infrastructure needs to be shut down. Everybody says that, fine. I'll even concede. Israel is a major base for the United States of America. Fine. So handle it the same way that you handle all the other bases. This is how I feel. So that's my thoughts on it. I mean, and I was listening to you too, Suleiman, saying like how they are negotiating right now. Like, it's like they're winning, but the more you do the negotiations, it's taking away the edge. It's like taking the edge away. I don't know. I can't articulate it as wonderfully as you do, but it's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time and a waste of life. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Guys, do me a favor. Obviously, the co-host is the Moral Resistance page. Go there and give a follow. I don't get it. I put up the interview with Anthony Aguilera, and it literally said on there, visibility limited. This post may violate X rules against violent speech. It's just an interview. It's just a normal interview. I don't get why X has done that. This is craziness. But anyway, and I don't know what's happening. They're literally targeting... So they're targeting like every single post on that page. But anyway, that being said, that page is there, guys. Make sure you give it a follow. The Moral Resistance. It's the, actually, let me put the last thing I posted on there. And then, guys, give that a follow, because we will be at some point doing spaces from that page instead. At some point. So make sure you are following that page, because that will be golden. So we will be running spaces from there at some point. We are waiting for Iran's attack on Israel. It's going to happen at some point. So let's check it out. I mean, we're waiting for that. But let's go to Andy. Andy, you got your hand up. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the people in Iran, they're out on the streets saying, like, we stand with the resistance and you need to respond. And I really respect the Iranian people. They give the government the peace of their mind. And unlike America, like, the government respects the will of their people, and they actually listen to them, because that's how a country should work. The government should respect the will of their people, instead of, let's say, what we have in the West, where nobody wants to be associated with Israel, and they're stuck with that. And then when you have John Fetterman posting, the strikes were great. They killed a Hezbollah commander that killed 5 Americans soldiers. What the heck are Americans doing in Lebanon? And I said it's absolutely shameful. Like, this is going to have the opposite effect. This isn't going to rally Americans behind support of Israel, because most Americans probably don't know that there's been a few Americans that have gone over there and fought with Israel. When people find out about this, they're going to be like, what the heck? Why are Americans invading Lebanon with the IDF? Like, why are our people being traitors and fighting for another country's army? So this is going to have this adverse effect, I feel like. Instead of getting support for Israel, it's going to further prove our point of how much control this other country has over us, that American citizens are literally picking up arms to try to invade another country and steal their land on behest of a foreign government. And it's absolutely shameful. Like, that, like, they're trying to say, like, oh yeah, bombing Beirut's justified because Hezbollah killed some Americans. Why are Americans fighting for a foreign army? We should be defending our homeland. We should be focusing on our country. It's just absolutely shameful that Americans would pick up weapons and fight for Israel, a literal terrorist fake state. It's disgusting. And I'm really waiting for Iran's response. And yeah, I think the defense minister or whatever of Israel is talking with Pete Hegseth. I bet Pete Hegseth ain't too happy, because Pete Hegseth would probably rather be sitting at the Octagon for the UFC event drinking, but he actually has to work on a Sunday, so he ain't too happy. Sorry, buddy, you actually have to do your job. That's what you get when you get in bed with Zionists. You can't enjoy your UFC event. So yeah, sorry, Pete. You have to do some real work because you picked the wrong side. You stood against humanity.
So Trump just made another interesting statement. This guy's bro, he's just not, I don't get it. Does he like live in a different like alternative world? But anyway, he said the following. He said, we'll get the nuclear dust later on when we're ready to go in and do it. I'd say over the next month or two. There's no rush. It's harmless. That girl, any thoughts on your president?
Right. I didn't vote for him. He's not my president. I'm gonna do the black thing. He's crazy. I mean, we'll just get it late. What is he saying? It's like he's drinking, and he claims that he doesn't drink. We're not worried about the nuclear dust. We'll just get it later. I don't know if it's Trump lying to himself, hoping to be able to. I don't know. I really don't know how to interpret this anymore. But that's scary. I don't know how to interpret the leader of this so-called free world, the leader of this army, of this country. I can't interpret what he's trying to say or if he's in his right mind. This is a man who can have access to nuclear codes. Extraordinary.
So Andy, just looking at this, today is like, what is it? It's like the UFC day he's gonna do. He's got his birthday today. He's got all of these things today, and then he's Israel's essentially bombed Iran, and he keeps saying the deal's gonna happen in a few hours, but I mean, there's zero chance the deal happens in a few hours. So what is he smoking?
Trump knows there's not going to be a deal. This is just about trying to calm the markets. But I mean, as we know, the oil crisis really will be hitting by the end of July. So you can tweet and buy time, but eventually there's no amount of posting on Truth Social and fake statements that can be used to push back the inevitable that in 6 weeks the oil is really going to hit. Those strategic reserves are going to be drained. So if there actually isn't a deal in 6 weeks, then there's no amount of sugarcoating and fake deals that can be talked about to fix the markets at that point. The only reason they've gotten gas down closer to $4 a gallon, and which is still $1 higher than it was before the war or this time last year, is because of the draining of the reserves. Like Morandi said, like the American economy will begin to crumble in July, and all the analysis I've been seeing is like, yeah, the end of July is the crisis point for the oil. So like, I think Iran is trying to balance, like, okay, we have to hit back somewhat because we can't just let them bomb and kill civilians. But I think Iran is also trying to do everything in their power to avoid a full, like Iran.
Andy, I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt you just 1 second. There's breaking news, Suleiman. It's just come out. And sorry, I don't know if you read it out, but I'm just going to read it out. This is coming from the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And he says, he's tweeted this out saying, following intensive talks, we are pleased to announce, this is madness, guys, right? We are pleased to announce that the peace deal between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been reached. Both sides have declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. The official signing ceremony will be on Friday, 19th of June in Switzerland. So it's not going to be virtual like they said yesterday, like Iran said yesterday. It says the official signing ceremony will be on Friday, 19th of June in Switzerland. We would like to thank the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran for their commitment to finding a diplomatic solution to the conflict. I'd hardly call it diplomatic. But anyway, we'd like to extend our sincere appreciation to our brothers in this mediation effort, the great leadership of the state of Qatar for their support in reaching this agreement. I'd also especially thank the visionary leadership of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Republic of Turkey for their immense contributions in this regard. With the agreement now in place, mediators will facilitate a series of meetings this week. The pre-implementation discussions, I don't know what this is. What is a pre-implementation discussion? But anyway, these pre-implementation discussions will lay the foundation for the technical talks and the official signing ceremony. So the official signing ceremony is next Friday, 19th of June in Switzerland, I'm guessing in Geneva, and he's tagged in Donald Trump, JD Vance, Rubio, Witkoff, Steve Witkoff, both of his accounts actually. So his Peace Missions account and his personal account, Pezeshkian, Galibaf, and Arakchi. So yeah, that's what he's announced.
That's hilarious.
What?
So just on that, so there's only two possibilities, right? Either he's just chatting nonsense because Trump told him to post it, because remember the deal within a couple of hours, he kept on saying. Or it's true, and that's just complete weakness by Iran. Like, how could you allow Beirut to be hit and then you sign an agreement? So there's only two possibilities. Gigi, what do you think about this?
I honestly don't know. It's a surprise to me too. I was talking to Iran earlier, and I didn't sense the thing that is that there's going to be an agreement signed from the people. I'm obviously not the government, but I'm really shocked. I don't know. Well, we cannot read a lot into any of this news because we don't know who's saying what. We have to wait and see what's happening. So I don't know. Suleiman, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is crazy, obviously. But let's see, Andy, jump in, and then I want to go to Jubin, and then we'll go to Stuart.
Yeah, like I don't know if this is real or Trump just got them to put this out. So then, if Iran like bombs Israel back, then they'll be like, "Oh my God, we had a deal and Iran ruined it," and that this is just more fake bluster, fakeness to just get Iran to then not bomb Israel, and then there really isn't a deal. But again, if this is fake and there really isn't a deal, then Pakistan and everyone loses whatever remaining credibility that Pakistan even had left at this point. So the fact that there's now an official date on this signing ceremony and they're not just saying more BS, deal is close, like they're actually saying it's reached and there's an official date. Like if they then don't follow through on that, then like at that point, then this war is going to drag on, I think, like indefinitely, because like you can't make an official deal signing ceremony and then go back on that. Like there's a difference between Trump saying 45.
So let me just say this, Andy, and then I'll give it right back to you. Trump says this is breaking news. Trump says he plans to announce the US agreement with Iran imminently. Trump is saying he plans to announce the US agreement with Iran imminently. So he hasn't made this announcement. Pakistan got there first, and maybe Suleiman's right. Maybe he was instructed. We know that from before, right? Remember one time when the Pakistani Prime Minister put out a tweet and it literally said at the top for the Pakistani PM to put out like instructions, and he put that out by accident. So I don't know how Trump is going to announce this. We'll have a look if it's going to be live presser or if it's going to be via tweet, if it's going to be on his Truth Social. We'll keep you posted. Sorry, do continue, Andy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So Trump might use his UFC event to announce a deal. This is like the most Trump thing ever. Again, assuming it's real. I'm not believing that there's a deal again until Trump and Iran's leadership both sign on that dotted line. Until they both sign on that dotted line, there's no deal. They can talk about a deal all they want, but until it's actually inked, I'm not believing anything because, again, these people just all they do is lie. So if they actually go to Switzerland and sign a deal, then sure, I'll believe there's a deal. But until then, there's no deal. But this is really interesting. He's gonna make an announcement at his UFC event about a deal. Like that would be so Trump. I mean, he is his issues, all his flaws, selling out America. At the end of the day, he is still a showman and an entertainer. So that is something he'd do while everyone's watching his UFC. He'd say, "I have an announcement. We made a deal." And all this. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he does.
In other hand,
It's
sorry.
I just saw, I just really quickly, Andy, I just saw your comment to the Pakistani Prime Minister. Andy's comment underneath that post is, you better not be lying about this deal or there may never be peace. Yeah, he better not be lying. Sorry, Gigi, jump in. You were going to say something.
Hi, no, hi, Beatrice. Nice to hear your voice. I was just saying, in the other hand, there could be a deal reached or very close to it, but Israel did this rant of bombarding Beirut today because they know that they cannot do it later. And then maybe negotiations went on with Iran, and they told, Pakistanis or even GCC begged Iran not to retaliate, so this agreement stick. Because if anyone wants this agreement to go ahead, is GCC and all the people around Iran. So there is so much is happening, so many power, so many pieces that are pulling the thread here and there. So we don't know. Maybe there is a deal, and that's why Israel did this, to break the deal. But then perhaps they paid more, or they opened more of the sanctioned money of Iran as a result for the for the deal to continue. Trump, I think, definitely wants a deal. He cannot put a leash on Netanyahu and Zionist government of Israel. Otherwise, he would have done a deal a month ago. He wants a deal. Whether he can keep the deal because Israel is not part of the deal. They are not signing anything. If he can keep the peace, that's another thing. But could be actually that attacking Beirut was the last rant of Israel. We have to wait and see, and I will believe it if it comes from Arakchi office himself or Iran, some official in Iran. I don't believe it until I see that.
But it makes me a little concerned. Just I want to say real quick for Lebanon. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, we're dealing with psychopaths. So if there is this so-called deal, what they said the 19th, all the way on the 19th, I think Israel is either going to bomb Lebanon like crazy up until the 19th, or on the 19th do a ridiculous bombing of Lebanon. The likes of I don't know. I hate to say stuff like this, but we are dealing with psychopaths. So I'm just going to pray a little harder because they don't want this deal, so it is a little concerning for me.
On that point, right? Let me just give you this quote from Trump. He told the Wall Street Journal, and I'll just fact check this. He's done an interview to the Wall Street Journal, and he says in that interview, "We'll get the nuclear dust later on when we're ready to go in and do it. I'd say over the next month or two. There's no rush. It's harmless," right? And that's just one statement from that interview he gave the Wall Street Journal, and there's other statements here. When you look at that and you look at what's happened, you can take over the last 107 days in terms of in Lebanon, but let's just take the last 48 hours as an example. Isn't it crazy that Iran has even gone and agreed to this? And then you consider the protests that are going on, within Iran, by the people of Iran. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of like what I said, before this breaking news just happened, is that to me, negotiating with America, it's foolhardy. It's just ridiculous considering what we've seen. They cannot be. I live here. We can't be trusted. This establishment here cannot be trusted. I mean, how many more times they're going to continue to bomb Lebanon? And I think that this is even going to give them carte blanche to do worse things in Lebanon. And I don't even like saying that, but we've already seen we've seen so much in Lebanon that should have been shut down completely. Forget a deal. All of this. And in America's already telling you, yeah, we're still going to go back in and get the dust. It's easy. I don't even know what that means, but that means that they're not stopping anything. Deal of what? What deal? This is craziness to me all around. It really is.
Well, we should not trust Donald Trump tweets, guys. It's if he says that we're going to go get the dust, he has to somehow play that he's victorious. He's saying this for American to think, oh, we are going to get it.
Let me tell you some of the other stuff,
him.
Gigi. Yeah, let me tell you what else he said in this Wall Street Journal interview, right? Because this will give a bit of context. So, and I haven't read the whole article, but he did say he plans to soon announce the US has reached a deal with Iran. So he's saying we have reached a deal. I'm going to announce it soon. He says, though Tehran has not yet confirmed its acceptance of the agreement. He says this in the Wall Street Journal article. He says, a deal has been reached I don't know how he's reached a deal if Tehran has not yet confirmed its acceptance of the agreement. He said the deal will be signed electronically, which conflicts with the Pakistani Prime Minister said. So he says the deal will be signed electronically by either himself or Vance, and will include an Iranian commitment not to acquire nuclear weapons, which was already in the JCPOA that he ripped up, but never mind, along with the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. And he said the statement I gave you earlier about the we'll get the nuclear stuff, when we're ready to go in and do it. There's no rush. And then he was asked about, would Iran agree to these terms? And Trump said that both sides want the conflict to end. He said, and I quote, "I think they want to get it done. This has never happened to them before." And on Lebanon, he said Bibi shouldn't have done that. When he was asked about the strikes in Daya today, he says, "I didn't like it at all. They fired a couple of small missiles and missed their mark by a lot." So he's really playing down what Netanyahu did, what Israel did. And he says now they'll be forced to fire back, as in Iran will be forced to fire back. Then Netanyahu will fire back. Then the whole thing will never stop in the Middle East. These are some of his statements that he's made to the Wall Street Journal.
Listen, to me, I think that the whole thing.
By the way, he was downplaying what Hezbollah did, not Israel. He said Hezbollah missed.
Okay. Well,
No,
anyway.
he's downplaying what Israel did. He said Bibi hit. They missed their mark by a lot.
No.
He's talking about Dahia.
Israel doesn't miss. Israel hit something in.
I know, which
like
is why
some
he's downplaying it, Mancos.
No, Beatrix, you're not understanding. He's saying that Hezbollah fired a couple rockets into Israel and didn't hit anything. Therefore, Netanyahu was not justified in attacking Beirut.
Did you read the whole article?
Just some more breaking news, and then I'll let you both continue because I haven't read the article. Donald Trump he said the deal with Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herein authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of all the world, start your engines. Let the oil flow.
So Iran bent the.
Oh, wait.
No,
So
wait,
does,
how do we even know anything happened? Like, it
one second,
online.
Manco, 1 second. I have a quick question. Does an environmental tax count as toll-free?
Well, let's see, because Trump's position is, let me, look, you know me, I try to be fair as possible. So Trump is obviously saying there won't be no environmental fee as well. Iran's going to say there is, I'm guessing. And from what I've heard from the Pakistanis, they're saying there won't be either as well. So let's wait and see who's right about that. I'm not jumping the gun and saying who's right or not. But yeah, go ahead, Beatrix.
No, I was just asking that. I'm wondering. I'm just a little bit.
Well, he's actually, Beatrice, he's saying this because there is 25 minutes to the future market opening, and he wants to make sure everybody is not selling the market again. We cannot trust this man. We have to wait for Iranian to come out and say what's happening.
Yeah,
But
I think
this
Iran's going to respond. There's no scenario where Iran doesn't respond. If they respond, if they don't respond, then yeah, this is capitulation.
Yeah, it's at 6 o'clock. It's the future opens, and he wants to make sure not everybody dump everything in the market again. But we cannot trust this. I'm for peace, and I will take peace any day if the killing stop. But we have to wait.
If the killing stops.
If the killing stop, which it won't, unfortunately, as Manco said, Israel will hit and will hit exactly where they want. But anyway, we have to wait and see what the Iranians say. I just want everyone to be patient and see what Iranians say. And then there is administration fee that they said they will charge. There is administration fee in Bosphore, as you know, that was in place in 1936. Bosphore is also an open water, is not a canal that made, is not like Suez.
No, that's not true. That's not true. It is extremely narrow. It may not have been man-made,
well, I'm not going to debate with you.
Tight control over it that they were allowed to have that because nobody else could stop them.
Anyway,
It's very
the
different than a
point I was
20
going to
mile wide
make is
strait.
that it calls administration fee, not a toll. So they will come out and say there
No,
is
they
an
charge tolls.
administration. Okay, well, anyway, Manco, I give the mic to you and I say goodbye because I'm not here to waste my energy on a bad energy. Bye bye.
Yeah, so
Gigi, don't say bye. Stay with us. But Gigi, one thing I want to say to you, and then I'll come straight to you, Manco. When you say you're all for peace, I agree. But my question is, at what cost? Like, is it going to be years of sanction? I know it's not. This is not what Trump's saying, but I'm just giving you an example. Years of sanctions again, all of that. That's not the price worth paying for peace for Iran, especially when it's come this far. But I agree with a lot of what you said, Gigi. And I just went to the Strait of Hormuz,
Yes,
as
I
some of you
heard.
may know.
I heard, and I'm
Yeah.
very jealous that you went there because I love that colors of that area.
Oh, beautiful.
In your
Beautiful,
in
Gigi.
response, oh my God, isn't that another word? But nonetheless, what I was going to say that the event, I call this war a big event in human history. This event, Beatrice, changed everything. I mean, look at the reaction of everybody in Europe and in East Asia and in Asia towards the US. I don't want Manco to answer me because I really don't have any patience. I've been sick and my account has been suspended and I've been dealing with a lot. But I'm just telling you my point of view. You can go, Manco, and rant as much as you want. The reason we are in this situation is people like you don't want to open their mind and see there are other people that need, that have the right to live peacefully, with dignity, with prosperity, with all the stuff that you think only American are
this
entitled
is just
to.
like emotional ranting, though. We're here to talk
It's
about the
yes,
substance
I'm a
of
very
what's going
emotional
on today.
person, and I'm very proud of it. But let me finish. Let me just finish. This war changed everything, Manco and everybody. Changed everything. Yes, there is going to be Israel is going to try all their best. You know what they're doing with all the prisoner in Israel. All they're doing with everyone. You know who they are and what they do. They are going to try their best until the last breath to kill as much as they can. But this war changed everything. Now they know Iran is not to be bended. Iran is not gonna. Iran is there to protect the rest of the people that, during the Hajj. And Manco doesn't need
But
know
look,
that. But Beatrice,
nobody's scared
there
of
were
Iran.
there were a
When Iran fired a
lot
few
of
missiles at
communication
Israel,
happening
Israel
a month
did
ago.
a big
Just
attack
can
on
I
Iran.
finish, Manco? And I honestly won't talk after that. Let me just finish this, and then I'll go and I won't
Mango,
talk.
let her finish. Gigi, let finish.
You
Stop
know what,
I'm
Andrew?
interrupting her,
finished.
Mango.
Andrew,
Stop
I'm
you're
interrupting
running.
such
her.
a
I
Okay,
don't
simp,
have.
bro.
guys,
You are
one
such.
second. This is bang out of order. Let Gigi finish up on Gigi. If you can stop saying his name, because at the one hand you keep mentioning his name, and then you're like, I don't want to speak to you. Like, if you don't, just like this is like, you're saying I want to mention your name, but then I don't want you to respond. So I'm just saying, don't mention his name, and then you can finish your point. You won't respond, but I've heard you say his name like 10 times now in the last like minute. Good to see you, Andrew. You've come up now. But go ahead, Gigi. You're gonna say.
I just wanted to finish with the fact that this war changed everything. The equation is not the same that it was before the war. Israel is not the same. They won't be able to go to Europe and ask for missiles and military things from Italy, from France, from everywhere, from NATO. This war changed everything. The equation of this problem is now completely different, and in my view, much better for humanity. Because yes, there will be time that Israel will still hit Lebanon. They will hit anything they can. They want the land. They want Muslims to be completely vanished from the side of the earth. But there were multiple meeting during the Hajj last month. People from Iran, people from GCC, people from Yemen, they all met. That was the real power. They could meet in a peaceful environment and decide about the region that belonged to them. It's belong to them. I'm not saying that Israel doesn't, Jewish people cannot live in there, but that area for centuries, for decades, for millennium will belong to these people. They agreed on many things that is not in the news. It's not within you and I. I have friends that were in there, and every day after in the dinner time, they were everybody during the Hajj were always, all of them were talking about this problem. And Iran has a completely different status now, and it will hold Israel, and it will protect aggression. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I want to go to Manka. Manka, I want to come back to a point that we were just talking about before. Let me read to you what it said. So what it says in this article, oh, for God's sake, come on. Yeah, here we go. He was asked about today's Israeli strike in Beirut's Dahia. And he says, and I quote, "I didn't like it at all. They fired a couple of missiles and missed their mark by a lot. Now they will be forced to fire back. Then Netanyahu will fire back." So he says, then Netanyahu, so as in now Lebanon will be forced to, or Hezbollah will be forced to fire back. Then Netanyahu will fire back. Then the whole thing will never stop. So what I'm saying is, he's playing down what Israel did today. That's what I was saying. But it's a moot point, actually, Mankos, because they have been fighting each other because, well, Hezbollah has been defending their land, but that's the moot point. But go ahead. What's your thoughts on
real quick.
Trump's announcement? And I'm wondering right now if Trump's going to be a bit miffed that the Pakistani PM kind of beat him to the announcement. But anyway, go ahead, Mankos.
Real quick. So when Trump said they fired a couple small missiles, he's talking about Hezbollah, not Israel. And when he says, and they missed their mark by a lot, he's talking about Hezbollah firing a couple rockets into northern Israel and that they didn't kill anyone. And he said that previously throughout the day. He's had multiple quotes about this. And basically his position is, stop interrupting. His position is that who keeps interrupting?
I don't know whose mic that was.
I saw Andrew unmuted. That's the only person I saw unmuted.
That was Andrew. Anyway, to continue, just a hot mic, that's all. Go ahead.
I think it was a hot mic from Andrew then. But Manko, he's asked about the Israeli strike in Dahia. Israel struck Dahia today.
And they didn't miss, and they didn't fire a couple small missiles.
Which is why I'm saying he's playing it down.
He's talking. Listen, Beatrice, I'll say this one last time, and then if you don't want to get it, fine. He's saying Hezbollah fired a couple small missiles, which missed their mark by a lot, into Israel. And that is why he didn't like it at all, and that Bibi shouldn't have done that, referring to the retaliatory Israeli strike in Beirut. That's what he's talking about. He's saying that Netanyahu was in the wrong, and that's why he didn't like it. And the reason he was in the wrong is because even though, yes, Hezbollah did fire into Israel, and Netanyahu said, if you fire into Israel, we are going to strike you. The fact that they didn't actually hit anything, Trump says that doesn't justify a response.
That's not the point. I think the whole panel, I understand what you're saying, Beatrix, because then why would they fire back on themselves? That's he's trying to dumb it down so that people don't realize what Israel did in Lebanon. He's trying to make it seem like a fleeting thing. So it's like, oh, we don't need to keep having the back and forth. They didn't hit anything. Because then why would he say, then they'll have to fire and then Bibi will have to fire? Why would they fire? That would mean that
he said, now they will have to fire back, then Netanyahu will fire back. So why would they have to fire back? Anyway, look, I think I read the quote out a couple of times. It's a moot point. People can take from it what they want. But what's your thoughts on
framing it incorrectly? Because it's not like Hezbollah fired in Israel. Israel's been bombing South Lebanon continuously and ferociously. So this is against Zionist propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, I read the quote, right? He's basically saying, when you look at the theys he's used, the theys, right? The first they is Israel.
In terms of your quote, it's very clear that he's talking about Israel's strike being minor. I think Manko is getting confused with a different statement by Trump, because what you're reading is just basic comprehension. You literally read the first line again.
When asked about today's Israeli strike in Beirut's Dahia, he says, I didn't like it at all. They've fired a couple of small missiles and missed their mark by a lot. Now they will be forced to fire back. Then Netanyahu will fire back.
So they will be forced to fire back. That's clean on Netanyahu, because the next sentence is that Netanyahu will be forced to fire back. So
yeah,
he's quite clearly minimizing Israel's attack in that one, although it's unless it's badly written. But then and then Manco's basically conflating that with a different statement of Trump, which I'm reading now. In this one, he says, the attack by Israel has the right to defend itself against threats, but the attack it was responding to was very small and meaningless. Nobody was hurt, injured, killed, and should not disrupt the important process. So again, that's a different statement by Trump. But I guess putting them all together, I mean, this is just stupidity, this whole argument. The whole thing is, Israel's bombing South Lebanon. Hezbollah has responded to their bombing of South Lebanon. The only reason Israel bombed Beirut was in order to drag Iran back into the equation and to derail the peace deal. Now, like I said, I'm going to be consistent. If Iran doesn't respond, I think that's a complete and utter weakness and capitulation. If Iran does respond, then obviously there's no peace deal at the moment. But back to you, Beatrix.
Yeah, I agree. There was just something else, and I do want to go back to Manco, but I want to read. I just saw a little while ago, this statement coming from, let me just find it quickly. So basically, Israel is, Trump says Netanyahu supports the proposed Iran agreement, saying Bibi is okay with it. He argued the deal would benefit Israel because Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon under any circumstances. And that's, he said that to the Wall Street Journal. But there was another statement that I saw, which is basically Israel's demanding a meeting with Trump because they feel that they're under threat from both Iran and Lebanon. And I'll find the exact statement in a second, but Israeli media is saying that Israel's demanding a meeting with Trump. I mean, how Israel can be under threat is just like, it is parody. The nation that strikes everybody else feels under threat. Like, if you don't want to be under threat, stop bombing other countries. It's as simple as that, because nobody attacks you. They only defend themselves. But anyway, separate point. Let's go back to Manco. Manco, what do you think of the Prime Minister, Pakistani Prime Minister's announcement? Yeah.
Just before you go to Manco, guys, the Moral Resistance co-host page, and it's pinned in the nest. Make sure you give that a follow. It's the co-host on the space, and have the subscriptions on, because at some point we will be hosting spaces from there instead of this page. So just to let you know, so follow the Moral Resistance page. But sorry, Beatrix, back to you.
Yeah, guys, please do give that page a follow. I mean, I was a founding member. Andrew was a founding member as well. I think at some point Casey was a founding member as well, but we all found it together, and give it a follow. We will be hosting spaces from there. I appreciate everybody who's followed it. Really, really important. It's the same as Suleiman's YouTube channel. It's called Moral Resistance. It's where Suleiman does all of his interviews on YouTube on the Moral Resistance channel. Also, there's going to be a website coming. There's going to be Moral Resistance merchandise coming. So I appreciate Ali Mega King has just followed it, Ian KQ and Carbone, Joe Twala, Darbo, Greg Hauser. Thank you so much, guys. Loads of people are now following it. NHP UK Southeast. I appreciate all of you. Keep following it, guys. Perfect. Look at that. Numbers are flying up. Make sure you follow it. We will be doing spaces from there. Click the bell icon. Put notifications on for everything on that channel. Manco, back to you.
Okay, as far as Trump saying that there's a deal, there's an internet saying PIX or it didn't happen. If you're going to have a signing, why is that signing not being live streamed? Why is there no video of it posted online? Why didn't he post a truth showing him in the Oval Office, like doing the signing on the webcam, and like Argachi or something is up there doing that too?
He said it's going to be on the 19th. Trump said it's going to be on the 19th.
But he said it's like actually fully done though, right?
Yeah, he said, it's done, but the official signing's on the 19th. This is his claim, obviously. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, because there has to be some way for him to say it's officially done. Now, maybe they'll do a ceremony on a different day, but something has, you can't say, for example, if you're dealing with a legal context and you're dealing with signing a contract, you can't say it's done until it's actually signed. And you can have a different signing that's in the public, but there still has to be a private signing or something like that. So for him to say that it's done, he has to, and by the way, if he says it's a done deal, why hasn't he posted what the agreement is? There has to be a document, right? Why not just scan it and post it on his True Social or something? Like, we still, how can you say there's a deal when we don't know exactly what the deal says? And he was hiding this from everyone because once the deal becomes public, it's going to make a lot of people mad. We don't know who it's going to make mad yet because we don't know what's exactly is in the deal, but a lot of people are going to get mad. The people who think it's either too hard on Iran or too easy on Iran or too hard or easy on Israel, the United States, or whatever. So now that he says that it's a done deal, he should publish it. But I guess I don't think it's a done deal. I don't think any of this. I think that Iran told Hezbollah to fire rockets into Israel, knowing that it would cause Israel to attack Beirut, knowing that that would mean that Iran would attack Israel, so that Iran can go to Trump, because again, Iran is just playing Trump. They have no intention of fulfilling the deal, to go to Trump and say, either you make additional concessions to us or we're going to blow up the deal. And of
Wait, I
course,
missed that
that's
point.
exactly
What's
what
the
Trump
point you're
does.
making? What's the point you're making there? Quickly, I went to just put my plate away. What did you say? That Iran did what?
Yeah, so Iran told Hezbollah, fire some missiles into Israel. Don't even have to hit anything.
Oh, so
Just fire
and
some missiles into
who
Israel
told
so that
Israel to?
Israel will blow up the deal.
Okay, so and who told Israel to bomb South Lebanon?
Israel said that's what they were going to do. Well, they've been bombing
Well,
South Lebanon the whole time.
and
Like, that's not
Hezbollah's
relevant to what happened today.
Hezbollah's been striking at Israel all this time. Now they've done different modes, sometimes on the ground, sometimes through FPV drones. But this isn't the first missile that's gone towards Israel. There's been many.
In like the recent days, it is. They are not firing rockets into northern Israel every day.
No, that's not true, Mankos.
That's
They just had 2 drones strike military targets in the northern occupied territories. What are you talking about? They've been striking the north almost every other day.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Well, Israel said, if you do it, we bomb Beirut. And they didn't bomb Beirut yesterday or the day before, but they did it today. So that indicates to me, and all the news stories said that Hezbollah fired the rocket.
What about 2 weeks ago when they did strike the north again, and then that's when Israel attacked the Dahiya in Beirut, and then that's when Iran retaliated. They've been striking the north nonstop every other day. And what about
that just proves the point that the fact that they hit today, as opposed to 2 days ago, as per what you said, or the day before that, or the day before that, or the day before that, there was a reason why they struck today, and it was to derail the deal. So this idea, I don't know, maybe that is the claim that Lebanon's not been striking northern Israel. Like, that's been happening. But go ahead, Hussein, you were finishing your point.
No,
and by the way, I just looked it up. It said that the last time this happened was June 9th, and then it just happened in the last 24 hours. So there was a
and then a resistance fighter infiltrated the north as well. You didn't mention that part. But Mankos, I love how you're trying to like kind of put the blame on Iran for trying to break the peace deals when it's in fact Israel that's trying to break the peace deals. Every single time there's a peace deal on the table, and we saw this during the 12-day war, and then when Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated, and now this time, every single time when Iran's at the table trying to make something happen with America, it's always Israel that comes in and does something catastrophic to break the deals apart. But yeah, somehow you want to put Iran as, oh, Iran's playing Trump. No. Israel is playing Trump, and Israel is the one that is ruining all the peace talks, period. There's no way else to look at it.
Wait, true or false? Did Israel say that they were going to strike Beirut if Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel again? True or false?
That doesn't matter. They were bombing Beirut.
True or false? Did the resistance say that if they fire at South Lebanon, they will be firing into northern Israel?
I mean, I don't know if they said that or not. Did they, Suleiman?
But they did though, and I'm just looking at it now. I've got he's an example. There's many examples of the resistance firing into northern Israel. They happened yesterday at about 5-6 p.m. my time, so it's about 1 p.m.
Yeah, that's what Israel was responding to. So it says the last attack before the last 24 hours was June 9th. I asked AI to give me the timeline of all the rocket attacks, and there's rocket attacks on June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then 13th to 14th.
Yeah, well, what about drones as well? And so 9th, which is 4 days ago. Why didn't they attack 4 days ago, Israel?
I don't know if when was the last time they did the attack on Beirut? It was like the 7th or 8th.
I think it was 7th, yeah.
Yeah, it says June 9th that rocket alerts were reported across northern communities as Hezbollah continued attacks against Israeli territory and IDF positions. I don't know what the details of that was, if rockets actually hit like anywhere near Israeli settlements or something, or they didn't counter, or what the details of whatever happened on June 9th was.
Yeah, the point of this, Mankos, is that Hezbollah has said that as long as the Israeli diaper forces are inside Lebanon, the north is not going to be quiet, and they're going to continue to hit it. So that's where this all stems from. And so if you want if you want the north not to get hit, then Israel needs to withdraw. Otherwise, it's going to keep getting bombarded.
So let me just read this to you. This is IRGC affiliated officials. They're saying after Israel attacked Dahia today, Iran's Ghalibaf halted nuclear talks with Qatar. Iran's military armed launch system. So they were all ready to bish, bash, bosh. Trump then backed down at the last minute, immediately and fully lifted the naval blockade on Iran, which under the initial MOU terms that we've been seeing over the last few days was supposed to be lifted gradually over 30 days. That's what they're saying. And the way that Iranian media, just so that I can give you the full picture, has been portraying this. Where's it gone? They're saying America was forced to sign an agreement to end the war against Iran and the resistance front. They were all ready to go. That's what they're saying. I'm just quoting the news here, right?
Wait. So what's the point? What's the point you're making? That what's Iran saying? That what?
Iran saying that basically Trump bent the knee.
How though?
That's what they're saying.
How
so they say, well, basically one of the things they're saying is in the initial MOU, it was going to be up to 30 days for him to lift his naval blockade. He's actually given instructions for the naval blockade to be lifted, the American naval blockade to be lifted immediately. That's one of the things they're saying. I
don't think that's right.
But I'm not making the point. I'm just reading you what's being said on the Iran front.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's all irrelevant. Like, the main point is are they going to respond or not? That's, for me, the most important thing. If they don't respond, then they've bent the knee, not America. If they do respond, then, okay, it's worth having a conversation on what America has bent the knee on.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to respond, Suleiman, but Iran's deputy foreign minister has just given this statement. He says, this memorandum of understanding does not, I mean, it's baseless what he's saying. It's really frustrating. He says, this memorandum of understanding does not mean trusting the enemy. It has been drafted despite a lack of trusts. We will monitor the United States' implementation of its commitments. You know what? I remember when they first took that flight out to Pakistan, they said exactly the same thing. But actually, even before that, we will not negotiate because we don't trust them. Then they took a flight out to Pakistan and said, we don't trust them. We don't trust them. 107 days later, we're hearing the same thing. Oh, we've now signed an MOU, but we don't trust them. Okay, so you've signed a freaking MOU. Oh, you've agreed an MOU. You've not signed it yet. And Fars News said this as well now. Following Israel's attack on Lebanon this morning, Iran had cancelled negotiations and prepared to attack Israel. However, after last-minute concessions offered by President Trump, Iran was persuaded to forego the attack, persuaded by somebody they don't trust. These concessions include the preservation of Lebanon's territorial integrity. I don't know how Trump can vouch for that, given Israel's a loose cannon. Number 2, Israel's withdrawal from the Lebanese border. Let's see if they do that, Suleiman. if they push back from the Lebanese border and go back into the other side, the occupied Palestine side. Number 3, the immediate lifting of the siege, which is the kind of on the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is expected to release an official statement on the peace deal shortly. This is coming from
These were
Fars
so
news
everything you're
agency.
mentioning was already part of the alleged agreement. This is just an excuse not to respond. So yeah, I mean, look, you know me, I
agree.
I stand fighting against Zionism, but I think Iran's bent the knee here. Not responding after
Oh,
the
well,
attack on
here,
Beirut.
this just proves your point. Iran says it will refrain from carrying out its retaliation for today's... guys, I'm just reading the news, right? This isn't my thoughts on this, okay? My thoughts are quite radical on this, but Iran says it will refrain from carrying out its retaliation for today's Israeli strikes in Beirut because of, quote, last-minute concessions offered by Trump, including the preservation of Lebanon's territorial integrity, Israel's withdrawal from the Lebanese border, and the immediate lifting of the siege, which is what I just read out. So yeah, they're not going to retaliate. There you go.
So, all right. I'm sorry, Suleiman. Go.
No, go ahead.
And then Fars also claims that Trump conceded that Gulf waters transit rules will also be regulated jointly by Iran and Oman.
So I'm sorry, my mic keeps coming off and on, but I'm extremely radical on this too. I am. Before a second, I'm just gonna put it aside just for a little bit. I really do pray that they pull away from Lebanon and leave Lebanon alone. I know they won't. As much as I'm praying, it's a shame because I'm not supposed to pray without faith. But these people they're psychopaths. So they do need to be taught a lesson. I mean, my words are really severe. I just won't do this on YouTube. But God, maybe they really will withdraw from Lebanon. But if they don't, they should still have their missiles ready because I already know they won't. So let me just put it that way. But if we could see peace right now, gosh, these people can't take anymore. I mean, the people, anyone living near Israel is under threat. The fact that these people have the nerve to say, we're at risk, so our lives, we have to make sure we do, is insane. It's bizarre. It's insane. They don't have the right to do this. Forget this war. Somebody should have took out that infrastructure back in 2023, 2024, when the genocide started. These people have no right. This infrastructure has no right to exist, period. But the infrastructure, I said, but Father God, if we could see some peace, a break for the people of Lebanon, where they could return to their land, and they'll build back and everything else. I just pray that that's what happens. But have the missiles on deck, because I know who we're dealing with, so it is what it is.
Casey, it doesn't, in space, speaking panel listeners, this doesn't stop. Right now, the West Bank, I was talking to Zena this morning, right now in the West Bank, her nephew was shot in the head. The uncle's been arrested as a terrorist. The new settlements, 13 new settlements in the West Bank, they're slaughtering, genocide, West Bank, Gaza, Lebanon. I saw what's happening to Beirut, and again, I'm having flashback PTSD moments of my 1982 Beirut. If folks could only imagine what the IDF did to Beirut, Lebanon in 1982. 1982, it's replay over again. It's Groundhog Day.
You're saying you were there in 1982?
I was there in 1982 with the 21st Marine Amphibious Unit before it became MEU, Marine. It used to be MAU, Marine Amphibious Unit. Now it's Marine Expeditionary Unit. I was there, boots on the ground with them. I heard a snap of a whipping crack sound in the sky, in the air, and I told the gunny sergeant at the Beirut airport, I go, "What the F is that?" He said, "Some idiot's shooting at us." I said, "Okay, boys, let's go back to the boat. I'm out of here." My point is, it's hell, the smell, the destruction, the makeshift morgues, animals laying all over in this. I got sick and tired of seeing dogs and cats laying there bloated, laying in the street. Everywhere was destruction,
It's
death.
just a pile up of bodies, though, Andrew. I've been to Chevron and Shatila in Lebanon, and you just need to Google Chevron Shatila and see the images that came up. That was the true definition massacre. Let me just give some news quickly. So the Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran, Gari Babadi, has said, the text of the Islamabad Memorandum, they're actually calling it Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, has been finalized. This is coming from the Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran. The text of the Memorandum of Understanding has been finalized, and the official signing of the Islamabad MOU will take place on Friday in Switzerland. We held long talks with Pakistan and Qatar regarding the MOU in recent days. So they've been talking about it right the way through the last few days. Today, we spent long hours with the Qatari delegation in Tehran to discuss the MOU and our observations on it. And then he says, a permanent and final end to the war and military operations in various regions, including Lebanon, will be announced tonight. So from tonight, whatever time that is, that's when there's going to be, according to Iran, a complete, permanent and final end to war and military operations. And apparently, well, we're being told that Trump's delivered on one of his 3 promises and he's lifted the blockade in Hormuz. And I'm just telling you what I'm reading, guys, right here. So it's not my take on it. I think this whole thing's a freaking circus, personally. Yeah, I think it's a circus. So the White House has released white smoke, right? There's white smoke being released from the chimney at the White House, which according to tradition means the signing of a new peace agreement. But they haven't signed it yet. So they've just announced the signing of this. And so they're releasing white smoke. But yeah.
I guess they're the new Vatican.
Oh, do you know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Good
Isn't white
Lord.
like symbolized as surrender?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a white flag.
White.
I listen, and I think that the resistance in Lebanon. Sorry,
No, go ahead, finish your point.
I think the resistance in Lebanon should, just stand by, like Trump told the Proud Boys, stand by and stand clear. Whatever, just be on standby. I don't trust any of this, especially with that white smoke business that I just heard.
He
just
said,
now.
stand
So.
back and stand by. That's what he said
Yeah,
to the
that's
Proud Boys. The only reason I remember that is because Piers Morgan used to attack him for it, saying you said that to the Proud Boys. But anyway, yeah. Let's go to
Dr. Tusa. Dr. Tusa, what do you think about this? What's happening?
Hello, everyone. Oh my Lord, I'm having a vertigo, getting dizzy, literally, with this. Honestly, it's like a Groundhog Day, isn't it? Like, we have a deal, we don't have a deal. We have a ceasefire, we don't have a ceasefire. Israel attacked Lebanon attacks back, then Iran retaliates, then there is no deal. I mean, hello. I mean, this is insanity, honestly. And, Andrew, when you said you were there in 1982 in Lebanon, you know who else was there? Were you told? Yeah, go ahead.
No, there was a lot of people there, U.S., France, Italy,
No, what,
the
like from
Druze, the
Middle East?
militia,
From the Middle East.
no.
Forces
Hell.
that were your opposition or adversary.
Hezbollah?
Iranian
IRGC?
IRGC, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
you should have seen the mission brief. The mission brief, they went through 20 different players. Drew Militia, Christian Militia 1, Christian Militia 2. We had the Christian Nationalist. We had the RGRC. We had Hezbollah. And they say, no, Hezbollah didn't exist in 82. It didn't come about till 87. No, Hezbollah was there and operational. They weren't official, but we had the name. We used the name. It was in the ROE. But for the IDF, we were told continually that Israel, the IDF, are completely in a stand down. It's a ceasefire. They've been moved back to their line. And then we would hear the shelling start with artillery. And then we would hear jets. We would hear aircraft at 500 AGL going 5G, doing 5G egress. What the hell's that? Oh, that's the IDF. Wait a minute. I thought that they were in a stand down. Well, don't worry about them. They do their own thing. And they were the only one that we were told don't worry about, but yet we were more worried about the IDF than we were Hezbollah. And that's a true story.
Yeah, yeah. At the time, it wasn't officially Hezbollah, but that's where it was sort of in the making, kind of, right? So you had
Right.
the like you said, the the forces that were standing up for Lebanon against the invasion. And but I'm just saying that because around the same time Iran-Iraq war started, but still Iran didn't abandon the resistance forces in Lebanon against the invasion. And throughout the whole time, Lebanon had the support of the Iranian IRGC Basij forces in every shape or form, and continued to do so even during the Iran-Iraq war. So my gut feeling tells me that Iran will, even if they sign this MOU, that they're not going to abandon Lebanon. This has been a long fight. It really has been, right? I mean, the Palestinian oppression for the last 70, 80 years, the invasion of Lebanon since the 1980, 82. I mean, this is a long fight, right? And if I put myself in the head of the decision makers in Iran, I'm probably looking at it long term as well. And remember, like, there were times that Israel was hitting the cities in Iran really bad, like really bad. And a lot of Iranians, including me, including a lot of people on the panel in this space, we were thinking, how come Iran is not hitting harder, right, against Israel? So I don't think the IRGC, the authorities in Iran, are making their decisions of when to retaliate and how to retaliate. That it
So just
depends.
some breaking
Oh,
news.
yeah. Mhm.
So this is from Preston Morandi. He's I guess highlighting, illuminating some of the murky bits. He says Netanyahu's stupidity broke the deadlock at the negotiation table. Contrary to some speculations, there was no final text until his criminal attack forced Trump to accept Iran's demands, especially on Lebanon. So sorry, Dr. Tuz, do finish. And I know Manco's position is Lebanon definitely isn't going to be included in there, so we'll have to wait and see what's if Manco ended up being right. But go ahead, Dr. Tuz.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what I was saying is that I think the authorities in Iran, the IRGC, etc., the negotiators, are not sort of making their decisions based on a distinction or on whether or not, when and how Israel attacks and where. Like, even when they were hitting Iran really hard, like sometimes we expected immediate response and retaliation, but it wouldn't come for some time, or it would come in a different manner than what we expected, right? So I think for them it's a long haul, like it's like they have a longer vision, and they do recognize that just signing a MOU doesn't mean that they can go after Israel if they continue to uh, bomb, Lebanon. And so I think that we just have to be a little bit more patient and wait. Like I said, this is not something that just started, right? I mean, Israel destroyed Beirut in the 80s, and they've been at it, right? I think that anytime they see Iran kind of engaged in their own war, like between Iran, Iraq, and now U.S. was dragged by the Israelis into this war, they see the situation favorable for them to then go and invade Lebanon and for their expansionist ideology. But I really think that, and that's my gut feeling, that even though we may not see immediate strikes or retaliation by Iran, that doesn't mean they're going to abandon Lebanon. It is in the deal. Perhaps the fact that Trump is giving Iran more of their request or conditions It's basically, just sign it. I'll give you all these, sort of bonuses or whatnot. But let's just sign this and then we'll deal with Israel or whatnot. But you see, they can sign it, but they can still go after Israel. So that's what I think will happen. And as we all knew that Israel will not sit back and allow this deal to move forward. We knew that they're going to always attack and break the ceasefires to stop the negotiations. We always knew that, right? But if you're in the shoes of either Trump or Iran, like obviously Trump is a different story, but don't you at some point want to tell Israel, you know what, you're not determining the outcome of these negotiations? You see what I'm saying? Because it's like wagging the dog. Like Israel is like, okay, I'm going to hit here. I'm going to stop the negotiations. We're going to restart the war. And at some point, you're going to say, we are the ones that are more long-term oriented. And you do not determine the direction of this thing. So I think maybe some of that is also there. So yeah, I landed there, and I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in.
Let me just give some news that's coming out really quickly. Thanks for that, Dr. Atusa. It's all the news is all a little bit schizophrenic. It's all a bit contradictory. Both sides are putting their narrative basically. So the deputy foreign minister, Iran's deputy foreign minister, says the 60-day nuclear negotiation period will start after America releases frozen Iranian funds. Additionally, Iran will see sanctions relief if a final agreement is reached, and the two sides will negotiate Iran's economic redevelopment. So they're not going to start the 60-day negotiation period until Trump delivers on the three key promises that Iran claims it's got as concessions for not striking Israel today. J.D. Vance has confirmed he's going to be going to, I'm assuming it's Geneva, but Switzerland, we know, to sign the agreement. And J.D. Vance says, I wanted to say the R word, but I can't because we're on YouTube. But you'll figure out what it is after this statement. It says, I think we can safely say with confidence that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Big win tonight. That's what he says. And it's like, duh, that was already in the JCPOA.
Damn, serious? Now Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon? Huge.
With confidence.
Huge win.
White smoke from the White House chimney. So the 60-day negotiation period between Iran and the US will only start after the US releases Iranian frozen assets as agreed upon. The nuclear issue will not be discussed before that. And obviously the lifting of the siege, which has already happened, and a ceasing to fighting on all fronts, including Lebanon. Gaza's not mentioned anywhere. Somebody looked at the YouTube comments, and I think, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, one of our I think it was Danger maybe, but one of our kind of regular listeners was saying they're really hacked off because Palestine's not mentioned anywhere. So yeah, and Iran constantly is repeating that important concessions were made after Iran threatened military action against Israel. I want to know I really want to know where Mustafa Khamenei is. Where is Mustafa Khamenei in all of this? Why is he not mentioned?
Don't listen to her, Mustafa. They want you to come out so they can kill you. Don't listen to her. This is why you don't allow these people in the street, Hormuz.
No. We have, guys, retweet the space, by the way.
Yeah, retweet the space and follow the Moral Resistance co-host, because we will be doing spaces from there at some point. So that's the Moral Resistance channel. But anyway, the point I was going to make about Gaza is, look, I know people keep saying this as a sectarian point or whatever, but let's be clear on this. You have to think logically. And I mentioned this many times, and this has been confirmed by many people in Iran. They are trying to get Gaza into the final agreement, but they can't. Like, in the sense of, it's so hard to do so because essentially there's a separate agreement, the Gaza border peace, full of all these GCC. Remember, these people who shill GCC, but with the GCC, and I thought the GCC got peace anyway. I thought you all claimed that GCC got the peace. So you're all admitting now that they didn't. Thank you. So thanks to everyone who said that GCC got peace, but now admit that you actually need Iran to do it. But because of that fake Gaza border peace. That's the reason why there's not a. How do you put Gaza in there when they've already got an agreement? They've already got an agreement between all of these Muslim nations. And so when you say put Gaza in, they're like, all right, but Gaza's already in there. Yeah, but like put Gaza in, but like, they're already in there. So like that's where you're basically gonna have to deal with. So I don't agree with these people who keep saying, "Oh, what about Palestine?" Because I think it's totally different. Okay, wow. Some breaking news. Breaking news. This is. I'll give you one guess what it is.
JD Vance again.
Not JD Vance. Come on.
There
The
is no
real
deal.
No deal. We're gonna
no.
bomb the hell out of him. We're gonna
Israel
nuke him.
bombed. Oh God, Israel bombed Lebanon.
Israeli. So Netanyahu just told Trump. This is a content Ma'arif. Israeli forces will not withdraw from Lebanon, and Israel will not consider itself bound by the Lebanon clause in the U.S.-Iran MOU.
What a shock.
Terrible. See what I'm saying? Somebody just needs to come shut it down. Forget these deals. These discussions are not necessary. It's not going to happen. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to get unhinged, but it's like, just let it go. Like, there's no peace. America is not sovereign, okay? America cannot tell Israel to get out of Lebanon, all right? Israel will fight us, okay? And we have plenty of their reserves here, all right? I'm serious when I say that. So they know, and Trump knows this is all like this is a show. Iran, all right, okay. Let me just be careful.
Go ahead. Just say it, Casey.
I mean, I've been saying it. This infrastructure needs to be shut down. It just needs to be shut down. The world can't go on like this, where adults can't talk because we know Israel's going to, but this is the same. Suleiman, we did this last year. Remember last year when everybody was chilling and there was supposed to be negotiations, and literally, like, I think it was to the day yesterday that Israel decided to strike Iran during literal, like, face-to-face, forget Pakistan being involved, literal face-to-face negotiations, and then we went into a 12-day war. It's about to get kinetic. Forget it, guys. Like, let's just let it go. Let's just let the chips fall. Do what needs to be done.
Casey, we forget a lot, but they were literally in Vienna on the Friday. On the Monday, they were negotiating. On the Monday, they were going to meet in Geneva. And on the weekend, the Supreme Leader Khamenei was killed. Right?
Exactly.
And what was that? 107 days ago. Then the Minab school. All of that. And then we still get, oh, we don't trust them, but we're going to agree a memorandum of understanding. Like, what the heck? And you know they can't actually contain the rabid dog that is Israel. But so what are you agreeing? Are you sacrificing Lebanon, but not saying you're sacrificing Lebanon? I'm at that stage. I know Suleiman says that, like, Palestine's different. I don't think it is. At the end of the day, you are supporting the axis of resistance. You mentioned them today in one of your earlier statements. The axis of resistance includes the Palestinians. You can't now start carving up the axis of resistance.
So I don't think it does, though, because I mean, obviously Hamas is the resistance, no doubt. But logically, how do you get the deal done when they already are saying that there's a Gaza border peace? The Arab nations, all the Muslim nations, already saying that there is a Gaza peace deal and a Gaza border peace. So you could be like, okay, I want to cancel that. I want to put it in there. Fine, but how does that work? And actually,
I'll tell you.
Logistically, how do you stop Israel from incursions into the West Bank? You would need, for Gaza to be in there, you would need essentially one of the Muslim nations, something like Egypt, someone like Lebanon, someone like that to be also within there who can, within their borders, ensure that they administer it as well. Because how much missiles are going to strike all the way from Iran every time Israel strikes somewhere in Gaza or somewhere in West Bank? So I do think Gaza is more complex, and I think that Gaza also, remember, West Bank is separate because they're run by the PA, they're not even run by the resistance. And then Gaza specifically is different as well. And the Hamas signed the deal, the Gaza border peace as well, so that's an additional problem. And how do you know if they say we want to continue on with this line of agreement as well? So there's all these different factors.
No, I understand that, Suleiman, but do you know what? That deal that Hamas signed was under the guys. I don't agree with it either, and I agree with you. I don't think they should have signed it. We're against it, but they signed it, right? Whatever. They fought a genocide for 3 years. I ain't gonna knock them for the option that was put on the table to them, and they were advised to sign it. Maybe they weren't given as much support in resisting anymore. Maybe they were just really exhausted. I don't know what. Ismail Haniyeh, Yahya Sinwar, all of these people were killed. They signed it, right? Maybe Khalid Mashal told them to sign it. I don't know. But it will not have been based on an understanding that we will sign this peace deal and Israel will keep bombing us and continue a genocide. And with that, that has got to be the breach of any agreement. And that is what Iran should insist, that there is honor on that agreement that Hamas signed. At the very least, freaking hell, man. They're supposed to be fighting for, we thought they were fighting for all of us. Never mind all of us. They're not even fighting for the Palestinians at the moment.
Who?
Literally at that stage.
Who? Who's not fighting? Yeah, they are. I don't get it. What? Yeah, I missed that because I'm too busy trying to find news. How are they not fighting for the Palestinians? I don't get it.
Well, they haven't agreed them, have they? They haven't included them in this peace deal or MOU.
It says a ceasefire on all fronts. The resistance, I keep repeating this, but the resistance in Gaza has said that they've been told that they're going to they're going to put the resistance in the final deal. The final deal isn't this, it's a 60-day ceasefire deal. But that being said, like I said, it is complicated because Hamas have already signed a separate deal with the Gaza Board of Peace. And at that time, everyone was telling them to sign it. I didn't think it was a good idea. Now everyone's like agreeing. And the reason I didn't think it was a good idea is because at that time, everyone said the resistance, oh, put your guns down. And, you know, the world will see how bad Israel is and you'll definitely get your land. And we were like, nah, that's not going to work. And that didn't work. So obviously Hamas ended up signing the deal based on whatever pressures they got, also because they were desperate because they need to get medical supply into the country and some food into the country. But that being said, they've signed a deal. And so what you're basically saying is Hamas needs to renege on the deal. What if Hamas doesn't want to renege on the deal? What if they're like, we don't want to renege on the deal. We want to continue going down this path. This has got all the different Gulf states in there. It's got Turkey in there, it's got Egypt in there, it's got Jordan in there, Pakistan in there, it's got all these countries in there. So I just vehemently disagree with it. I actually find it the other way around. Like I think anyone who's attacking Iran over that point is a highly problematic point to do, and I think they're only doing it because they want to do an easy and cheap target.
Yeah. And so to that low IQ guy, right, Aziz, let me tell you something. When I say Iran was supposed to be fighting for us in the West, I mean for humanity, you idiot, right? Iran was fighting for the sake of humanity. We're occupied. Our countries are occupied. You're too low IQ to understand that. You're probably new to this, but we've been running spaces on Palestine for a long time, right? And they were fighting for all of us, as in they were fighting against Zionism, which occupies our countries. And we have always said they fight for humanity. This is where we started off. So if you don't understand it, don't comment about what I say. Otherwise, I'll kick your butt off. Anyway.
Smash him.
I'm going to smash him. Idiot.
Okay. Let's go to Juban. Jump in.
Thank you, Suleiman. Thank you for bringing me up, as always, and Beatrix and everybody here. And, you know, I was just reflecting. I mean, listen, wow. You know, earlier on when we had this this Pakistani announcement of the peace deal, where did we hear it first? We heard it here from Beatrix before anyone else. All of my mainstream...
From me, the moral resistance, Juban, and I am
absolutely. All the mainstream media apps that I had open, which I have open in my phone, announced it all 5 to 10 to 15 minutes later after Beatrix has announced it. And that's why we need to stay on here with Suleiman and the team in this amazing space. I think this peace deal is going to hold. I'm going against what a lot of people are saying tonight. I think it's going to hold. I really feel quite confident about it. I'm one of the kind of people that would always feel that Israel were the sabotagers, and I still believe that strongly, you know, that's what they are. And, you know, we need peace. The Palestinian people need peace. The people in the West Bank need peace. The Lebanese need peace. The Iranians need peace from all of this carnage that's been going on. So, you know, I've got a glimpse of hope that this is going to hold and that we're going to see change. Maybe not this week or next week, but I think it's going to come. I think the situation with Israelis' Greater Israel project is over. You know, those days are over. I don't think we're going to see it. I think it's dead, and I think Netanyahu is going to be the fall guy, and I think that's what we're going to see in the coming weeks and months ahead, is changes there, internal strife within Israel, perhaps civil uprising, civil war within that situation there, and hopefully eventual peace. But I'm fairly hopeful that what we're seeing tonight is going to hold, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe that's just an emotional reaction for me, because that's what I want. I want that for the people of the Middle East, and maybe that's why I'm seeing it. So thank you, guys, and back to you.
Appreciate your comments, Jobin. Some more breaking news. Trump has put out another tweet saying the Great Deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran and all have failed before me. The leaders of the region have, for the first time, found a president who can help them achieve a real peace. With the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday, for the purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends of the region and the world. And actually, I believe oil prices are dropped below $80 as well since then. Okay, who was? I can't see any hands up, by the way. I don't know if everyone's has dropped or whatever it is, but if somebody wants it,
I see. I'll tell you whose hands I see. Because I'm on it like a cob on it. I can see True Maga, I can see Prashant, and I can see Auntie's hands up.
Yes, those are the hands.
We chicks have got it under control. Don't worry, Casey. We can manage this space. Let's go to True Maga.
Oh, thank you. My hand was getting no. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to probably cover a bunch of stuff that just kind of reminds us of what was happening. You guys aren't going to learn anything new, I don't think, because you guys know way more than me, but only results will tell us actually what's happening now. I mean, that's sad to say, but like she said, I mean, we never know. There's been 161 peace deals and it's resulted in no peace. And I like what she said about the markets. I thought it was like, tomorrow the market's going to open, so we have to say this. But then Friday the 19th, it's going to close, and then we're going to announce something's going to go off and start it all again. So, but I just want to go. It'll only take me a minute to go over this stuff, and if you guys want to comment or not.
Well, just to give us your thoughts, because I think you're just going to end up repeating the news that we've been going through. So if that's your comments, that's fine. But I don't want you to just go on and repeat the news again.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things I want to say. I mean, I've been holding on for a while. Can I say them or not?
Yeah, I just said if you want to say your opinion, go ahead. I just don't need you to repeat the news that we've already given.
Well, the strait is still closed, right? The oil reserves are way freaking down in dangerous levels. That stuff hasn't changed at all. And like she said, the U.S. and Israel, Israel's going to make its own decision. They're not bound by the U.S., decision. So, but just remember that 60 days ago, he said a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back unless Iran agrees to all the demands. And that's one thing he stuck to. And the demands are insane. I mean, it's like, give up all your nuclear, all your missiles, everybody out of Lebanon, everybody out of Gaza, no support for Hezbollah. So I just don't think that's going to happen like everybody else is saying. I want to thank Andrew and Prasad for your guts and your decision to put yourself in danger for us. And I'll just end there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go to Auntie and then we'll go to Prashant. Auntie, jump in, love.
Well, going back to military tactics, I mean, we have to be honest about this. The U.S. was fighting the war of the past. The U.S. was fighting a 20th century war, thinking, oh, we can just drop a bunch of bombs on the country and that's going to win a war. And no, Iran's a mountain fortress. Iran and Hezbollah were fighting a 21st century war with advanced drones, cheap missiles, and that's modern warfare. Like, just look at what we're seeing with Russia and Ukraine. It's all about cheap drones, and that's how you win wars. The U.S. doesn't have the cheap drones. Like, Iran has cheap missiles, and we're talking about, oh, the U.S. is going to bring 8 Dark Eagles into the theater that go Mach 5 and cost $40 million. Are you kidding me? Iran has better missiles than that Dark Eagle thing that go way faster and don't cost nearly that much. I bet Iran's top missiles probably cost $1 million at most. So it's just completely insane how, like, antiquated, to be honest, the U.S. military is. And, like, of course they don't care, because the point of the U.S. military is not to win wars. It's to profit the military industrial complex, it's the profit Zionists, and then all the insider trading. If the US was actually serious, I mean, not that having some better weapons was going to completely achieve the goal of regime change, because I mean, there's no weapon that you can make that's going to be able to just magically go down 1,000 feet into a underground mountain bunker and destroy a missile city. But it's like they weren't even, there was nothing. They literally just thought, okay, we're going to drop some bombs, and then this proud civilization that's been around for thousands of years is just going to surrender. Like, it was complete hubris. And it's like they literally look at the Iranians like there's some backwater like barbarians, and these are some of the smartest people on the planet. And it's just like ridiculous how they thought that this was ever going to work in a million years. Like, you have, it's, I mean, obviously Trump was lied to by Netanyahu, and no, that's not an excuse. Trump is the commander in chief, and it is his job at the end of the day to make a smart decision. He completely failed, and he got what he deserved. He got humiliated on the world stage for deciding to listen to Benjamin Netanyahu. So yeah, he got what he deserved. The buck stops with the commander in chief. So this failure of the war is on him. I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing a counter after this deal is announced. I could start seeing some people try to say, like, oh, Trump got bad advice. This isn't Trump's fault. I wouldn't be shocked if we even see Hegseth get fired after the terms of the deal are so bad, because you know how Trump operates. Trump blames anyone but himself for his own failures. No, and like, yeah, like this entire administration is completely rotten. I mean, yeah, there were some people that pushed back against the war, but remember the reporting, like Tucker Carlson
Angie, let me just
said,
interject
like,
one second.
this
Sorry,
war
I
will be.
don't know if Suleiman read the statement out by Trump, because I know he read another one out, but basically Trump's just made a statement, and do stop me if it's already been read. He says, this great deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran and have all failed before me. The leaders of the region have, for the first time, found a president who can help them achieve real peace. With the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday, so what he's saying is the strait is going to be open, now open and like free, like, you know, and whose control? I don't know. But anyway, he says, with the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday, for the purpose of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world. President Donald J. Trump. Go ahead, Andy. Like, I'm just like, whatever. Go on. I'll just carry on reading the statements.
That's completely ridiculous. Trump didn't negotiate. Trump didn't negotiate peace. He lost the war and is trying to spin it. Trump didn't negotiate peace. He lost the war and is trying to spin it as a negotiation and say, oh, we got this. Iran offered you a better nuclear deal than under Obama before this war. And I think Iran offered that knowing that it was going to be broken. Iran was the one playing 3D chess. Iran knew Trump wasn't going to accept it, because Iran knew Bibi was going to actually be stupid enough to bring Trump into this war. And Iran knew the whole time they were going to be able to win, because Iran had, let's be honest, Iran actually had superior technology in the drone department, superior technology in the missile department, and their stuff was protected by mountains, versus the U.S. in Israel's infrastructure was not protected by 1,000 feet of mountains. So Iran had the geographical advantage, and in a lot of the weapons that counted, they had an advantage. So sure, Iran may not have an air force in the traditional sense. And Iran won this without even having to use most of its navy. They didn't even really have to use their submarines and underwater drones for the most part. So yeah, Trump can say all he wants how Iran's navy is sunk. No, Iran's navy is just under the water, and they didn't even have to use their best naval assets. That's the craziest thing. Iran won this without even using its best stuff. They didn't even use a lot of their best missiles or best drones either. Like, if this escalated, Iran had so many more cards to play, and the only card Trump had left to play that he didn't use was 8 Dark Eagle missiles and throwing a tantrum and trying to commit genocide with a nuclear weapon. Like, there were no more real cards Trump even had left to play. And Iran had most of its stuff left in the tank. Like, Iran was going at like not even 50%.
Yeah, I think you know what, you're right, Andy. I'm a bit baffled, to be honest. So I think he's the, let me have a look what his official title is. He's the Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Qatar has made a statement, and I won't read it all out to you, but it's basically like, oh, thank you to everybody, and thank you to our brothers in Pakistan, and thank you to our brothers here and there, and we all look forward to working together, and we're going to be supportive of these steadfast efforts and enhance security and blah, blah, blah. But Nasruddin Amr, the deputy head of the media authority of the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen, has said to all who awaited, and this goes to what the point you were making, Andy. And you know what it is? It's like everyone's going to be giving their narrative, right? Everyone, like Pakistan's like congratulating itself, Qatar's congratulating itself, and you know, Trump's like, yeah, I've secured the region, no nuclear weapons, I was the best president ever. Iran's like, yeah, you know what, we got our conditions, that's why we're not going to take a revenge.
Iran won. There's no narratives. Iran won. Deal with it. Deal with it. They got all the concessions. They got all the concessions. We're gonna get all the information on the deal. You'll see. Go ahead.
And Netanyahu's like, and they're all doing all that, congratulating yourself. And Netanyahu's all like, listen, I ain't going to have no part of this deal. I'm going to carry on with my terrorism and bloodshed. You know, that's what I'm about. Trump ain't going to tell me what to do, right? I'm not part of this.
You made a golden point. Well, accidentally you made a golden. Accidentally you
Of
made
course,
a
accidentally,
bronze.
yeah.
Accidentally you made a bronze point there, which is that Netanyahu isn't gonna abide by this. Like, I know it's good to have the deal. I think the good deal. I mean, I don't think it's good to have the deal, to be honest, because of the Israel issue. If it wasn't for the Israel issue, I mean, having a deal is so good. Like, you're getting all the concessions you want. But with the Israel factor, they're just going to bomb South Lebanon, and I do think Iran's going to look weak. I think you can give them a pass for not responding today. I think because if they have got these extra guarantees, like as in Israel will definitely move out. If Israel doesn't move out of Lebanon, it's going to make Iran look very weak because it means they didn't respond. They got promised that they're going to move out of Lebanon and they didn't. They're going to just look so weak. And it's going to, again, and to be honest, it's going to get to a point where it's like foolishness. And don't get me wrong, I have the same problem as Iran. Like, someone screws you over, then you're like, okay, I'll be good with you again. And then someone screws you over again, and you're like, okay, maybe he's going to be good this time. And then he screws you over again. And I think it's this kind of, looking at people through your own lens. But I do think that they're going to screw them over, is essentially what I'm saying. But go ahead, Beatrix, jump in.
Yeah. So they're all kind of congratulating themselves. And Netanyahu's already said, he says, I don't see any reason why we have to honor what Trump said to Iran. Nothing to do with us, Gov. We're going to carry on with our little bloodshed going on, our little bit of terrorism here and there. But anyway, so Yemen has given a statement. And it's basically along the lines of, it's quite a long statement. And they're saying, look, Iran achieved their goals, and we did not accept defeat or loss and ruin, and people were waiting for us to accept defeat, and etc. etc. I'll spare you the rest of it. Let's see. I want to see exactly what comes out of Iran on this, because I just think they've kind of glossed over the whole, we didn't attack back. We didn't attack Israel back. In my mind, you're negotiating for something. That is a separate path to, you've got your terms on the table. You've had those terms from day one. What you're saying is you've gone ahead, Israel, and killed people in Lebanon. And in exchange for that, give us some of the things that we've got on the negotiating table with you, and we won't attack back. It really does not stick well with me. It does not sit well with me.
Well, I don't know, Beatrix, just think about this without any emotions and without...
Oh my God, you sound like Manco. Like, literally, anytime a chick speaks, you think it's emotion.
And where's the lie, Jim? But anyway, the thing is...
I can't believe you just said that on his face.
And by the way, that's a joke. That's a joke now, because I got a lot of left-wing audience on YouTube now. I love feminism, women power, jokes. Okay, so the point I was going to make was, so just think about this from Iran's perspective. So, and by the way, I don't think this is a good decision, because I don't think Israel's going to abide by it. But okay, maybe they think they will. So if you think Israel is going to abide by it, that Trump does have the power to pull out or whatever, So you've got option one. Option one is you respond, you bomb Israel. Israel bombs Iran again. Iran bombs Israel again. Israel bombs Lebanon throughout all of this as well, continues to bomb Lebanon throughout all of this. And you kind of get this scenario where, yeah, you'll decimate Israel even more. Israel will bomb Lebanon, probably decimate them quite a bit. And you'll get this war continuing for like a week or two or whatever it may be. That's option one. And then you go back to the negotiation table, and then there's going to be a deal at some point. Or option number two, Trump now concedes. He says, okay, we did agree that there would be no attacks on Lebanon, but now we also agree that you're going to be basically withdrawing completely from Lebanon. It was your demand. We weren't agreeing to it. That was the last hold-up point. They're going to withdraw from Lebanon. Withdrawing from Lebanon, not bombing Lebanon, means that now they're no longer bombing Lebanon. So from that specific concrete perspective, not the Strait of Hormuz, because I don't think they should have agreed to that anyway. That's a separate point. But that means what? That means would you not take the latter deal over the two things, or what option would you choose?
They've got even on those options you've given, they've got options, right? So they could do an Israel, they could take the deal and carry on frigging smashing Israel up, because that's what Israel does. It takes a ceasefire deal and carries on smashing, but Iran's probably got a little bit.
Yeah,
it is. I was just going to say Iran's probably got a bit more honor than that. I was just going to say that, but there are still these options. But if I was them, look, Suleiman, they know that you've got to know your enemy. Iran knows its enemy. Iran knows, right, that this is Israel's modus operandi. Just in the last 107 days, never mind the last 47 freaking years, just in the last 107 days, look at what Israel has done. Now, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's literally got global support. Iran has. The world is standing with it. It should have bish, bash, boshed it to say never freaking again. Don't you dare. And it didn't. End of. Robert. Hello.
Good
How do you feel
afternoon.
about your President Trump, Robert? Your president?
Man, I have a lot of feelings. I'm not, I'm not a TDS person. I don't approach it from that angle. I approach it more from a pragmatic angle of being actually America first. And, when you approach it from that angle, going off and starting a war for another country that is, thousands of miles away from mine, while my people are impoverished, illiterate, killing themselves at rates not seen since the Great Depression. It doesn't seem very America first to me. And the other thing that I view it through is the economic lens. And Bessent and Stephen Myron, who was on the Fed, but chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, these kind of people are quite smart, and they would have been able to predict the economic and financial consequences of going off and starting a war with Iran, which is they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. This has been widely acknowledged within many different circles, geopolitical wargaming. I've read like half a dozen different simulations, and they all say, yeah, in a significant conflict, they're going to at least attempt to close the Strait of Hormuz. Well, 20% of global oil transits through that strait, 32% of global seaborne oil. And what happens when you reduce the supply of the most crucial commodity on planet Earth? The price is going to go up unless demand falls by an astonishing amount. And just to put it in perspective, during Q2 of 2020, that is what it looks like when you shut the world down. That's what it looks like to destroy that much demand for oil. Back then, we saw a demand destruction of about 22 million barrels per day. And again, that's roughly equivalent to what goes through the Strait of Hormuz, kind of all else being equal. And the price of oil going higher is going to drag bond yields higher as inflation concerns become more pronounced. And obviously, we've seen inflation start to really accelerate here in America, but elsewhere too. And also, you're going to get the consequence of a stronger dollar. And the two of those, the higher oil price and the stronger dollar, is going to squeeze emerging markets that are going to suffer terms of trade shock, and their currency is going to weaken. The price of oil is going to go up even further in their native currency terms. And we know that the net international investment position of the U.S. Foreigners own $69 trillion of dollar-denominated assets. So we know they're going to start selling those, which cause bond yields to go even higher, stocks to go even lower. Like, all this was very predictable to kind of anyone in my world. And the fact that he just went into this kind of willy-nilly is we are now ending the war, right? The Strait of Hormuz was open. Now it's not. Now it's subject to Iranian controlled tolls.
So, Robert, I
Like,
just need to give some
what did we
breaking news.
accomplish?
Sorry, Robert, can I just give this breaking news and I'll give it straight back to you? Apologies. So we've got information about what the 14-point MOU is going to be. This has been released by Mehr News. They say that these 14 points that are going to be signed on Friday are the following. Quote, 1. The permanent and immediate halt of war on all fronts, including Lebanon. A US commitment not to interfere in Iran's internal affairs and to respect the sovereignty of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The complete lifting of the naval blockade within 30 days, but he said he's going to do that immediately now. And number one's now going to also have that complete withdrawal. So those are the 2 extra points, but this was the original one before those extra concessions by Trump today. A US commitment to withdraw its forces from the areas surrounding Iran. The reopening of the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days under Iranian arrangements. So that means Iranian control. The suspension of oil sanctions, petrochemical products and derivatives, and Iran's full access to the financial proceeds from them. The requirement for the US and its allies to present reconstruction plans for Iran worth at least $300 billion. 6 days of negotiations to reach a final agreement based on, 60 days. Negotiations to reach a final agreement based on nuclear issues and the complete lifting of primary and secondary US sanctions, as well as UN Security Council resolutions and resolutions of the IAEA Board of Governors. Iran's reiteration of commitment under the NPT not to produce a nuclear weapon. During the negotiation period, the US has committed not to add to its forces in the region and not to impose any more sanctions. Number 11, the release of 24 billion of Iran's frozen funds during the 60-day period of final negotiations. Half of this amount must be available to Iran before the negotiations begin. The formation of a supervisory mechanism to implement the agreement. The final agreement will be approved via a UN Security Council resolution. I don't know what that means. That's worth nothing. And finally, final negotiations will not begin before half of Iran's frozen assets are released, Iran's oil sanctions are suspended, and the naval blockade is lifted. The final agreement will be limited only to the fate of enriched material and enrichment, sanctions relief, and the program for rebuilding Iran's economy. Note, discussion about Iran's missile program and support for resistance groups have been definitively removed from the agenda. That is being reported by Mehr News. Okay, sorry, back to you, Robert. That was just the latest news on that.
Yeah, no, look, like, it sounds to me, I don't know how you could spin that to be better than on February 27th. I just don't see it. All I see is someone who went off and stupidly started a war with Iran on behalf or for the sole benefit of a country that is not America. And one of the key underpinnings of the dollar's reserve currency status is Pax Americana, and before it was Pax Americana, it was Pax Britannia, and it was the British Navy's ability to guarantee global trade that made the pound the primary reserve asset of the world. And for the dollar, it's no different. What we just showed, by stupidly going off and starting a war with Iran, is that Pax Americana is dead. We couldn't open the strait without surrendering, sanctions relief and all the things you just went through. We couldn't get the strait open for 4 months, and I'm skeptical that it'll even be open at all, in the coming week or two. Like, just because Trump henceforth declared that that tweet was crazy that he put out. I henceforth declare that it will be completely open, let the oil flow. Wake me up when the tankers actually start flowing out of the Strait of Hormuz, because remember that the other component of this is the war risk insurance that Trump and the U.S. government tried to kind of replace Lloyd's of London and the various different kind of traditional insurers that had all pulled out, and that didn't work either. So the ships have to number one, you have to clear whatever mines might be there, and I don't know that that can be done overnight or even within a month. And then number two, you have to make sure that there is an insurability of the ships. So like it was predictable what would happen, and that what would happen, that consequence is Iran would have the global economy by the neck. And really, you, I think, could see the pressure mounting on Trump with inventories drawing down at record rates, getting very close in Cushing, for example, to operational stress levels for the single clearing hub, the major export or oil terminal for clearing WTI contracts. You had Chevron, Exxon, Shell. You had all of them going to Trump, going, hey, dude, this is really bad. This is going to be really, really bad. And you could see, I think, over the past maybe week or two, that he was increasingly feeling desperate, I guess. And so, I think America, the country, is leaving, finishing all this up in a weaker position, in a much weaker position than we were on February 27th, before the world knew that Iran could close the strait and the US Navy wouldn't be able to reopen it. The world would have never known that on February 27th. Yeah, some people might have said, oh, the US military isn't what they claim, and, Iran's a super, but no one really serious would have been giving that credibility. Now, the whole world got to see that America, I don't want to call it a complete paper tiger, but, Trump just completely capitulated to Iran, in my view, and it's humiliating. It's humiliating, especially due to the fact that it was all predictable, the consequences, and number two, that it didn't need to happen, and that it wasn't in America's best interest, from the starting point.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Robert. Complete and utter loss by the United States of America. They've given, essentially folded to Iran about everything almost. Let's get Prashant in. I know, Prashant, you've been here from the start. I've not heard from you yet. Go ahead, jump in, Prashant.
Yeah, thank you, Suleiman. One thing, I just got the text from Trump, and it was full of lies and bluster and all of that stuff that usually comes from the devil. And I signed up for those texts a while back, because every time I get them, I just relied, I'm going to do everything I can for the rest of my life to see that you spend the rest of your life in prison. That's how I respond to his text, and I'll do that as soon as I'm done talking. But there was another interesting thing that happened when just before Andy spoke. There was another gentleman that spoke, and he said something like, thank me for putting myself in danger and one other person in our space, one of the other speakers. And I took that as potentially a warning, because what happened to me this week is Wednesday, one of my credit cards was attacked in fraudulent charges. Thursday, a different one from a different bank was
Sorry,
attacked.
Prashant, I'm just going to jump in because I want to keep it on the breaking news. There's a lot of news coming out about the peace deal. So if it's not directly connected to that, quote unquote, peace deal, then I think we should just keep on topic, if that's all right.
Yeah, well, you do whatever you want with me, Beatrice. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if you want to throw me off, throw me off. I'm
not going to throw you off. What I'm going to ask you to do is, okay, wait, Prashant. I'm sorry, but you have to respect the rules of the space, right? If it's not related to the peace deal, which we have been waiting for 107 days, I think we should move on. And, when we're all down, I mean, there's lots of things I want to talk about as well. There's a lot going on in the UK today, but I'm not touching on it because we're keeping on the breaking news. Everybody wants to hear it. So that's all I'm saying, Prashant, but I appreciate you. Thank you. Gigi, I thought you had your...
The peace deal is
go
a
ahead.
sham. The peace deal is a sham. How many times do we have to go through peace deals that are lies? The peace deal is a sham. It was a sham before many times. It's a sham right now. As far as the true, what the hell do you call it? Excuse my language, but Gaza Board of Peace, one more sham. I don't blame Hamas for signing it in the sense of what was already been said. They're tired of their people being killed. And I don't blame Iran for making little concessions because they're also tired of their people being killed. The Gaza Board of Peace was made by a devil. That devil was Trump. Nobody should give it any serious consideration at all. But people have to, like in Hamas and in Iran, because their people are being killed and they don't want their people being killed. They're in a position of a very dangerous position, a really no-win position, and they're doing the best they can, both Iran and Hamas. The real issue is Trump and Israel, the United States and Israel, are demonic entities, and that's no exaggeration. How do we deal with it? I don't know. I think Iran is doing the best they can, and they're the moral actors in this whole situation. The same with Hamas. So
But
that's
Prashant,
where
here's
we
the thing,
are.
right? Look, let me ask you a question. So the problem here is that one thing that we all know, because we've been here just in the last 107 days, right? Trump has taken guarantees about, Israel will not attack, and Israel has attacked Lebanon. Now, right now, with this memorandum of understanding, Trump has said Israel will withdraw from Lebanon. Iran has taken that and said, okay, thank you very much. Then we agree the memorandum of understanding. We'll sign it next week. How can they sign that or agree that, knowing that Trump cannot rein in Netanyahu? That's the issue, right?
Well, I thought I explained that, and when I said that's Trump Iran is doing the best they can in a very difficult situation.
Believing a lie, knowing it's a lie?
They're trying to protect their people from being bombed and killed. They're not believing it. I don't believe they believe it for a minute. They're trying to stop their people from being killed. The same with Hamas. That's the same reason Hamas signed this stupid Gaza Board of Peace, this big lie by the devil Trump. They're trying to keep their people from being killed, and I don't blame them. I don't think they believe it at all. I don't think they're that stupid. They're saying it
So
to
if they
try to
don't
keep
believe
their
it,
people
Prashant,
from
which
being
means
killed.
if they don't believe it, if they don't believe it, that means that they expect that Israel is going to strike again, which means that people will get killed, right? Which is what they believe, that people will get killed. So how are they stopping their people being killed?
They're doing what I said already. They're doing the best they can in an almost impossible situation. That's what I believe. That's how it is. And Dr. Atousa just said, I agree with you.
No, I appreciate that, Prashant. Thank you. Stay with us. Let's go to Gigi, and then I will come to you, of course. So, Gigi, jump in, love, because I did see your hand up earlier, but then it went down, so I didn't come to you before. Go ahead, Gigi. I can't hear Gigi. Can anybody hear her?
No.
Oh, no, Gigi, I really wanted to hear what you wanted to say. Gigi, can
The
you drop
space
down?
is very glitchy. I got kicked out twice too.
It's only happening to the chicks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Suleiman's up to.
She has her speaker.
Space. Why are you pressing my space for?
What?
I thought you were all for feminism, but you're not for feminism anymore then.
I am. I disavow myself.
Chicks revolt. Chicks need to revolt.
Gigi, can you drop down and come back up? Suleiman will bring you right, because I can't see my request. Suleiman will bring you right back up, please. And then we'll come to you, because I do want to hear what you've got to say. Perfect. I think, you know what? I've seen that WEF guy, the Krasenstein, in listeners. I think he's doing something to our space right about now, to be honest.
I saw him too.
Disavow. Beatrix, tell everybody to follow the moral resistance thing.
Yeah, guys. So Andrew, So Andrew, Casey, and I set up. We're founders of the Moral Resistance, right?
Hi,
So
can you
please
hear
give us
me?
a follow.
Has Joe accepted the application? Yeah, we can hear you, Gigi.
Perfect. I was just
Wait 1
gonna.
second, Gigi.
Sorry.
Just gonna announce something, and then we're gonna go to you. Go ahead, Gigi, Beatrix.
Yeah.
You're not
So we
getting away with
founded
it.
the Moral Resistance, and that's the channel that Suleiman runs on YouTube, where he does his interviews. Guys, please give it a follow. So on your screen right now, if you're on Twitter, if you're on X, you will see Suleiman hosting the space, and next to him are 2 profiles. One of them is mine. Don't follow me, right? Because it's a locked account. But follow the other co-host, the Moral Resistance. Please give it a follow and press the bell icon. for all notifications, because very soon we're going to be running our spaces from the Moral Resistance account, and there's loads of exciting things coming on that account, guys. There's going to be merch, there's going to be a website. It's not just an account, it's a movement, the Moral Resistance, and a lot more news is going to be posted on there. So I want to thank everybody and appreciate everyone who's followed it since last night. You really are part of the Moral Resistance, and I want to ask everybody else on this space who hasn't followed it, please do give it a follow. We were founding members of it. Oh my God, WEF is up. Anyway, Gigi, jump in, please. Go ahead, Gigi.
Thank you. This is my first day back after being suspended for so long. And I followed the Moral Resistance. I love it, and I do everything to promote it. But coming back to the issue that we are dealing with right now, and I am with you, Beatrice, you're frustrated why Iran didn't attack Israel tonight. But it's, first of all, this is just a MOU. It's not a deal, first of all. Secondly, Iran has won. Now it's obvious for everyone on earth that Iran has succeeded and won the war. That's clear. So imagine you are a very strong, macho guy in a neighborhood, and there are some bad actor everywhere, and they're threatening other neighbors. You put them in their place, but you don't kill them. You don't. If you want to be living in that neighborhood, Iran wants to be living in peace with all the neighbors in the neighborhood, including GCC. Because they're brothers, after all. They're all Muslims. They're all from the same race, same environment, same culture, same everything. Yes, GCC, for the protection, wrongfully, they signed with America and Israel. But now they know that the only protection they really can get is from alike of Iran, the brothers that they can really trust in the real hard time. They realized that when they needed the missile Iron Dome, or whatever you call it, America actually took it from them and gave it to Israel. They know they're second-hand citizen. They know they're not going to be protected. So they look up to Iran. There has been, you and I and everybody else in this space, we only saw what they send us, when the information they feed us. But there are so many things going on behind the scene, and I'm sure GCC, Saudi Arabia, all of those countries, even Turkey, they all has been in contact, negotiating, talking, and Iran, to be the strong power in that area, in West Asia, doesn't need to just bomb everything and destroy everything, should be a reliable partner, a reliable protector. And Iranian, in my view, have proved that during this war, that they don't just destroy things because they like to. Although there is different fraction inside Iranian government, despite all of that, they only attacked the infrastructure of U.S. and they didn't bomb any civilian. They didn't bomb any water desalination. None of that. So for Iran to be a powerful player in that region, has to be calm, has to be patient, has to do measured stuff. Yes, they didn't bomb Israel. In my view, as an Iranian, it was the right thing to do. But there are lots of things that we as a resistance, and in this panel, you and wonderful people like you and Suleiman need to do, even if the peace go ahead. If Iran become really powerful, if they get their assets back, if they become a superpower that they deserve to be, then they will go after all this crime that was committed during all these years. They will go after one by one by one by one. And that's what we want to do. We want to support them to bring all these crimes back. All those 70,000 people that were killed in Gaza. We want to get their revenge back. And we need a powerful Iran to do that. because the rest of the countries around in West Asia, they cannot do that. So I am hoping that this peace go ahead, and our job is not over. The job of you and me and other people are not over. They're scared of us. They suspended my account, which I had, I don't know how many followers I had. I lost all of that. I don't care. I don't want any follower. I just want my voice as an Iranian that lived during the revolution and lived outside, and to be heard. That's all I want. And that's all we can do. There's lots to be done still in the future to protect to protect the justice and the humanity. I hope that this peace goes on. It's not a peace, first of all. It's just a memorandum of understanding. There is lots to be done after that. And you and Suleiman has to bring us all those news so for us to see if they're actually upholding what they're promising. Israel started, Robert said, America started this war and we are now back in a worse place that we were in February 27. America didn't start this war. Netanyahu did. Even Marco Rubio came to the, announced it in I don't know, it was in Congress or Senate, that if we wouldn't do it, they would do it, meaning they didn't listen to us. It was always Israel war. It was always Israel land grabbing. And even Israel, the people that are doing it, like Netanyahu, are listening to their donor class. They're listening to the people that funding them. They may be tired. Netanyahu may be himself tired of what they're doing, but he has no way to stop, because all those people that are paying him, paying all these bills, want greater Israel. But we won. I mean, this is one big win. Let's celebrate the win of today. The win that Iran has actually won. Let's celebrate that. And then with this win, let's try to keep the criminal accountable to what they did to all those people, all the 168 girls that were killed in Manabah school, all the 70,000 people that were killed in Gaza. And still we have the fight in West Bank every day. Look what they're doing in West Bank every single day. We still have to protect all those people. Our job is not over. We still have a lot to do.
It's a victory when Lebanon is IOF free, when Gaza is IOF free. That's when we want to call an absolute victory and celebrate. You want to have a little like side moment of happiness that something is about to get signed, okay? But I don't consider this a complete victory until those objectives are met.
I agree with you. It's not 100% victory, but it's a small victory and years of losing to genocidal Israel.
I wouldn't call this losing. I just would consider them just being genocidal. But yeah, I mean, we'll celebrate when those objectives are met, when Gaza and Lebanon are diaper force free, and they get to have their serenity back.
100%, and I'll be there to celebrate with you. And
I'm sorry, my mic keeps on accidentally coming on. I'm just going to take a little advantage of that real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't even think this is a good thing to call a side hustle or whatever. I don't think people understand, like, my establishment. They cannot be trusted. It's not even, forget even, and I'm not saying it to be, smart or funny, whatever. Even if we weren't discussing in Lebanon, I hope Iran understands they are not going to stop coming for you until they can render you just in full chaos, balkanized, and just like destitute, like they do with the rest of the world, all right? My establishment and the Zionist, plans, it might sound radical what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I see the patterns. I know it. I see it. Okay, look at Libya today. Look at Libya. Look at Syria, for crying out loud. This is what they want for Iran. And it doesn't have to be this way. It could be that there's just corporate deals where, companies go in and everything, and then we make money together. Now, it's not what they want. This right here, to me, is just nothing but a distraction. They will come back for you. The whole thing is for Iran to be rendered without weapons, no sovereignty whatsoever. And I hope people really remember that over there. They had no right to go in and kill the Ayatollah, like we normalized so much. I mean, forget just even the Ayatollah, right? I still think Raisi was part of something else. I don't think it was just a helicopter that broke or whatever they want to say it was. These people have been trying to dictate your lives for a long time. This is my establishment and the fifth column of the Amen corner that really wants Iran done. They say they are afraid of Iran for anti-Semitism, things like that. It's unhinged. So I don't see anything to celebrate. I do want peace. I get it. People are tired. It's not me fighting, but they will come back for you in full force. They will come back for you. So it's just something to think about.
They have come back for Iran since 1953. They have tried everything. This time was different. They learned a lesson. They lost. It's
They didn't learn
different.
anything.
Well,
They don't learn. Yeah, we're embarrassed.
I know
Did you
they. Sorry, I know
Let
they
me just
do.
say to you real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but let me just say, it is embarrassing. Like the rational American who's looking at this, like how Robert said, I mean, the whole thing is embarrassing. It makes us look like a paper tiger. For the people that are like in charge of this, like, why are we still proxying Ukrainians and Russia? It's all irrational. There's no reverse gear. There's just escalation ladder, escalation ladder. They haven't learned a single thing. The only thing they've learned is that they need to go harder next time and harder next time and harder next time. So just be aware of this. I'm sorry. Like, I want peace, but I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that there's even going to be even a week of peace. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
I have
agree.
sorry.
I agree. I don't think that. I don't think Israel's going to abide by it. And so if Israel doesn't abide by it, it's going to end up being a trap for Iran. Like I said, I've been saying this. Let's see if I'm right. But
Suleiman
yeah.
agrees with you, Casey. Suleiman agrees with you, Casey. Remember that, cherish that moment.
I timestamped it.
Well,
I timestamped it.
Well, she agrees with me. She's repeating what I'm saying, which is good. They should always listen and regurgitate. It's always a good thing. But jokes aside, go ahead, Gigi, jump in. You were going to say a point because I want to get Costa in as well because he's been waiting a while.
Oh yes, no. Go ahead. No. I understand. I understand the sentiment. I'm angry too. I wish that Iran would have throw all their missiles and finish the job once forever.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen is Netanyahu already told Ma'ariv that he's not going to follow this deal. And so if Netanyahu bombs, let's say in 7 days' time, and what he'll probably bomb is South Lebanon, then the question mark becomes that's going to make Iran look weak if they don't respond immediately. And I think Iran won't respond immediately. That's where the trap is for Iran. And I think they're placing Iran in a trap.
I think Iran will react at that case.
Immediately, they've not responded. Every time Israel bombs
No,
Lebanon,
because Suleiman, I truly believe, and I know this because I know this is happening in Tehran. I truly believe Qataris, UAE groups, even Saudi have people in Iran talking and trying to hold Iran and promising Iran, promising Iran that they will support Iran. They will become finally one united front. There are so many talks happening, and Iran. Yeah,
you're making it sound worse though. You're making it sound like what's happening is they're going to allow South Lebanon to be bombed because they
No, I don't think
deals with the
so.
Gulf states.
No, I don't think so. They said it very, very clearly that South Lebanon has to be free, has to the Israeli has to withdraw from
You
the.
don't understand my point. So I'm saying they've said it, no doubt about it. But I'm saying Israel still bombed South Lebanon and they didn't respond to the bombing of South Lebanon. And I'm saying, and you're saying they're going to change this time. And this time when they do bomb South Lebanon, they're going to respond. Let's see. If they do that, that's brilliant. Then they're not going to fall into the trap. But if they do what they've been doing previously, which is that South Lebanon has been allowed to be bombed, then I am saying that this will be a major loss for Iran. This is the point I'm making.
Suleiman, I'm sure you've seen the demonstration in Iran and
sentiment that's different. The people in Iran.
Yeah, people of Iran wants Lebanon to be free. People of Iran won't wait.
And there's even protests in Lebanon saying don't do the deal. I agree with this. I'm not saying this is Iran. I'm saying that the current leadership who is negotiating, not the people of Iran. And even then, I'm saying I think they're negotiating in good faith. But the problem is you can't negotiate with these people in good faith. And I do believe that they're trying to trap them. And I'm saying they're not seeing the trap because in their mind, they're thinking, okay, if they break the rules, then we'll do this. And they've got in their mind what they're going to do. But I think once you sign the deal, it becomes harder to do if for like smaller infractions, and then in your mind you'd be like, oh, it has to be something major, and then Israel continue doing smaller bombs in South Lebanon is what I'm trying to say.
I think Israel will break the ceasefire. I think Israel will attack Lebanon, and I think they will still do genocide in West Bank.
And do you think? And so my
and
question
I
to you,
think
okay, very
this
simple
will
question to you, Gigi.
okay.
I think because this will answer it. So the very first time Israel bombed South Lebanon, from after the deal, the very first time, do you think Iran immediately responds?
I'm not sure, but I think they will go to US and they will say leash them or will attack them. And I think maybe not the first time, but maybe the second time. If they do, they will attack Israel. I think at one point they would. But I think America.
Okay, let me give you some news, guys. Laura Loomer isn't happy about this deal. Oive, goive. She said, Laura Loomer said, I feel, by the way, like, Laura, this is not a personal attack on you, but I want to come to the United States. I feel very sad for the protesters in Iran who lost their lives. Nearly 100,000 innocent people have been slaughtered this year in Iran by the Iranian regime and IRGC. That number is increasing. I thought it was 42,000 the last time I checked, but it's getting higher. It's not got to 6 million yet, but it's getting there. So, Gigi, do you finish your point? If not, let's get Corsa in because we need to let a few other people jump in as well. Go ahead, Corsa, and then we'll go to Joe. Go ahead, Corsa.
Hey, Suleiman. So I get a notification from my wife. She tells me, oh, they signed a peace deal. Iran signed a peace deal. So I go to my wife. I said, well, state your source. Who'd you hear this from? She said CBC. I said, okay, let me go check what Suleiman is saying, because I only trust his source. So that's number one. I see that they've signed this peace deal. Okay, well, not a peace deal, an MOU. And so I'm thinking, and I'm wargaming this in my head. And I'm thinking, I'm like, they can't beat Iran militarily. They know that, right? So they're stuck in this position where they can't beat Iran militarily. What else can they do? And I think they're still really focused on the idea. They want to subvert from inside, right? This whole divide and conquer. I think they're still, in the back of their minds, they're still focused on the strategy. And what they're trying to do right now, they're trying to break the will of the Iranian people. Because if they say, oh, we got a peace deal, it's going to be signed. I came online and I came to your space right away because I wanted to kind of check the temperature of what people's reactions are. And immediately in my mind, I was already like, you know what? Iran's going to get a lot of backlash for attempting to even negotiate, right? So yes, the US and Israel have broken all kind of traction with peace negotiations, but this is the first time I think, and you can correct me, that they've tried to ink something, right? So here's my perspective, and everyone seems to be focused on instant gratification and saying, oh, Iran cannot, don't have any premature celebrations. Even, listen, at the end of the day, even if they don't win, this is a clear message to the world that they have to listen to Iran's demands. They're listening to Iran, right? They're not dropping bombs right now, they're listening. And that right there is symbolic. So that is a victory. And don't take that away from the people of Iran and the government. I trust the government, what they're doing. They're all intelligent. They're master chess players. They're PhDs, they're doctors, they're scientists. They know what they're doing. And I don't think, this room has got it figured out where they haven't. It's like, oh, well, they're signing a peace deal and, they're just, Iran knows and the leaders know it's not going to last. But here's the thing. You have to give peace a chance. You have to. Even if you don't want to, you have to give it a chance. Why? Because who's watching? Well, the adults in the room that are watching is Russia and China, which are going to be, the ushering the new multipolar world. And they're watching Iran. And the reason why, and Beatrix said this, Iran has the support of the world. Why? Because they've been acting morally, right? They haven't been acting impulsively for instant gratification.
Just some breaking news. This is from Iran themselves. This is from the Iranian National Security Council. So they say, quote, To the noble nation of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, under the leadership of its martyred leader, has completed its superiority over the American Zionist enemy and under the measures of the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran. May God protect him. The support of all the people and the tireless effort of all the warriors of Islam following a difficult and intensive period of negotiation lasting several months and based on the resolution of the Supreme National Security Council, finalized the text of the Memorandum of Understanding on the end of war negotiations, Islamabad negotiations between Iran and the United States of America on the evening of June 14th. Based on the agreement reached, the war and military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon, will end immediately and permanently as of tonight. And in addition, the naval blockade against Iran will be immediately and completely ended. The signing of this memorandum of understanding will be officially held on Friday, June 19th. Negotiations for the final agreement will be postponed until after the other party fulfills its obligations in accordance with the Memorandum of Understanding. The Islamic Republic of Iran appreciates the efforts of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and the government of Qatar. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you. God's mercy and blessings. So that's the statement from the Supreme National Security Council. Sorry I interrupted you, but so from that, it doesn't say retreating from Lebanon, though. But I guess just that's some interesting point. But go ahead, Kosa.
Yeah, so they have to give peace a chance, even if they don't want to, and if they want to look like the responsible adults in the room, and if they want to be a part of the multipolar world that's going to be happening with the fall of the West, right? And that being said, the only thing I want to add is, I think if we look at the situation, how in this peace deal, for instance, the United States is a guarantor, in a sense, for Israel's kind of holding back Israel. And even like Zelensky, when he wanted a peace deal, he wanted security guarantees and he wanted NATO to back that with the United States to give him security guarantees. And I think what Iran should have done was got China and Russia involved, not for security guarantees, but to be some sort of guarantors in the process. I don't know if that's going to be worked out in the future, but so that, because what they're trying to do right now, I think, and I'm again wargaming this, if I can't beat my enemy, it sounds like they've just capitulated to all of the Iran's demands. So if I can't beat my enemy, I'll be like, oh, okay, sure, I'll give you what you want. Yeah. Oh, and it's just so absurd, right? Yeah, I'm going to give you everything you want. And you're just like, what? You're going to give me everything I want? Oh, yeah, for sure. We'll give you everything you want. And that would give me pause right away. So again, the Iranians, I think they know this. And what they're trying to do is over 100 days of people in the streets supporting this government, the military, and they're more activated than ever, right? And they'll say, oh, okay, well, they got peace, everyone can go home now, right? Everyone go home, break that momentum, and Israel will break it. And then what will happen? Then people will be like, see, we told you, right? We told you not to trust them, you trusted them, you signed a deal, and this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to discredit the government, right? So I think, of course, we all know, but what I'm saying is they have to give peace a chance. They have to give peace a try. And every time, like Suleiman, you said, oh, did Iran attack back every time Israel attacked? Okay, well, maybe there are a couple few things to consider. Is it their Mosaic doctrine that took time for them to respond? Is it the targeting that wasn't right? Because when they hit back hard. So it's not about instant gratification. It's about maximum damage. And if that takes time, this is where Iran's strength is. They're patient. They have been patient. 47 years of sanctions. They're very patient. There's nothing you can do to them today to hurt them more than the last 47 years what you tried to do, right? Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah, just on that, and so it's not like that point I don't agree with. Like what the Mosaic system takes like 2-3 months to respond. Like South Lebanon has been bombed throughout this entire ceasefire. So what, the Mosaic system is so slow that it takes more than 3 months? No, the decision was made that actually that doesn't meet the threshold to respond. Like we have to be honest about what happened there. It's not like the Mosaic system took 3 months to respond. Decision was made that South Lebanon did not meet the threshold and therefore it wasn't responded to, which is fine. That's Iran's decision to make, but it can't be because of the Mosaic system. That makes no sense.
Well, like I said, it's also in terms of the quality of the strikes too. Maybe the targeting wasn't right. Maybe we're just going to let them have their guard down and think that we're not going to respond. There's a lot of other factors. I get it. We want instant gratification because it feels good to see that.
It's
oh,
not.
this
We
is
don't want. No. We don't want instant gratification. Prashant, I don't know why you keep putting your hands up and then contradicting yourself when you make points when you actually open your mic. Because in reality, it's not instant gratification. People in South Lebanon were being murdered. They were being mass murdered. For example, towns were being absolutely obliterated. So it's not about instant gratification. It's about, first of all, being concerned about those lives being lost. The second thing is those lives largely were being lost because of them joining the war with Iran. And the third thing is that, especially after the attack on Beirut and Dahia, the previous one, Iran said that all of Lebanon would be included, and then it wasn't, which is fine. But that's the first time that Iran said something and then kind of didn't fully go ahead and fulfill it. So that's what I'm saying. So, and the whole reason I'm making that specific argument isn't that they should respond immediately, because it might be there might be multiple factors. Maybe they wanted Hezbollah to fight on the ground, wherever it is. But based on that, we can only base the future based on past actions. And past actions do seem to suggest that Israel will bomb South Lebanon and Iran probably won't respond. That's my point. And maybe they'll say, oh, the Mosaic system, as per what you said, took about a few months to deal with.
Also, Kota, there's nothing instant about the gratification that we want. Like, do you want to go for the last 107 days? Do you want to go to the 12-day war last year? Do you want to go to the last 47 years? Do you want to go to when they killed Ismail Hania? Do you want to go to when they killed President Raisi? Do you want to, like, that helicopter didn't just come down, you know what I mean? Do you want to go to when they killed Soleimani? There's nothing instant about the gratification. Like, it's a long time coming, this is. And you know what? It is what it is. I mean, let me just give you some breaking news quickly before we go to Mr. Krasenstein. So we've got a couple of useless statements. There's two. The number two useless statement by the most irrelevant person in this whole affair is by the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And he's like, oh yeah, welcome the deal. And, you know, I'm looking forward to a toll-free Strait of Hormuz, like whatever. And the even more useless statement than that is by that UN chief, Antonio Guterres, who welcomes the Memorandum of Understanding. This guy, UN chief Antonio Guterres, couldn't say the word Israel for the first 2.5 years of the genocide. He was like, they bombed, hello. So these people are all falling over themselves. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has also given a long statement. Lots of statements are coming out. So Iranian Parliament Speaker Bagher and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi are going to travel to Geneva alongside Vance to sign this. Remember yesterday, they said we ain't going to go anywhere to sign anything. It's all going to be virtual, if at all. Well, they are going to go. And what they're saying is, and this is, oh, I don't know whose mic was open. It's quite strange hearing myself. I'm not Suleiman. I don't like listening to myself. But the Iranian Parliament Speaker.
It's scary to listen to hear you.
What? What's that? All right. Okay. Let's go to. Let me just read.
First time I agree with her, Suleiman.
Yeah, completely. It is a scary.
Let me just drop him right down now. Let me just boo him. All right. So they say that this meeting will mark the highest level direct engagement between Tehran and Washington in 47 years since diplomatic relations were severed following the 1979 revolution. The agreement will also include a commitment by Iran and America to respect each other's sovereignty and refrain from interfering in one another's internal affairs. I think we covered that. And Iran waited until after midnight local time to finalize the agreement, avoiding a signing on Trump's birthday. Well, they haven't signed anything, have they? So I don't know what that's about. And it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, they agreed it, whether they agreed it after midnight or before midnight. These are the things that annoy me. It's like, what's the point? The 7.5-hour time difference allowed both Tehran and Washington to claim the deal was completed on their preferred date. Sunday for Trump, because it was his birthday, and the following day for Iran. It's like dealing with kids in kindergarten. There's lots of other statements coming out. Let's go to Mr. Krasenstein. Oh my God, Jonah, do you want to talk?
He act like he don't know
Oh,
this.
you're speaking about Joe. Okay. Joe, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, look, I have a little bit different opinion here, as usual. U.S. didn't defeat Iran. Iran didn't defeat America. Iran didn't defeat Israel. Israel didn't defeat Iran. Right? No one got defeated. I don't believe anyone really has the ability to defeat one another, to be honest. Iran doesn't really have a military that can travel outside of its borders to go conquest America or Israel. Israel really can't either, and America can't do it to Iran. So what you're going to wind up having is a compromise. And when you look at the fact that there has to be a compromise, this compromise heavily favors Iran in all reality. Like Iran got a better deal. It's not a better deal for America. It's not a better deal for Israel. Iran's benefiting here. So let them take their wins. Yeah, will Israel probably attack Lebanon again? Yes, but what are you supposed to do about that? Like, you could say that about any deal. Like, they could have said, like, oh, we're going to stop, Israel can no longer attack, or we're no longer going to give them weapons. You think someone's not going to give them weapons to go buy and do what they want? Like, no matter what the deal was, Israel can still go attack Lebanon, right? We know how they are. So I think this is a win for Iran. When you look at the facts on the ground, that there is a compromise because no one defeated anyone. Iran won. Like, when you look at the terms, Iran won, right? I'm happy for the Iranian people. I really hope that there isn't a propaganda campaign started in Iran that gets people all riled up. Oh, but you didn't get Lebanon, and then gets people to rise up against the government, because that's what I see coming next. But overall, this is a good thing for Iran. Israel is always going to have to be dealt with, always.
So Iran won. There's no doubt about that. Iran's won. Trump ceded to all the demands, except a couple that we need more clarification on, because both sides is claiming different things. But generally speaking, from what we've seen, it is that. I think the argument for why there shouldn't be a deal is twofold. One is about Israel bombing Lebanon. It is the situation that Iran now has to respond, whereas before that they weren't responding. That's something what changes the dynamic. That's one. If they respond, then obviously then that kind of sorts the issue out. And the second one is that part of this deal is, according to many people in Iran, and actually I agree with them, that they're opening the Strait of Hormuz too early. Like, that was their biggest leverage point, and they're letting that go very early, even to the point where you thought it was so important that you thought that would never be agreed, right? The Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that the Strait of Hormuz won't open. So
yeah, I didn't think it would be open so fast, but because of the Section 224, like, this thing worries me a lot, and it actually basically merges IDF and the Pentagon.
But that's going to take time, though. That's not happening now. So
yes, it is. Well, it takes time to 2027 when it actually goes into effect.
That's my point. Yeah,
just 6 months
that would
away.
have a bearing on the decision to keep the blockade open. So my point is this: there's people in Iran who are disagreeing with this. The issue is that like Professor Izadi, I was meant to have him on, but he had to cancel because I think he was speaking somewhere else. But his argument is that Strait of Hormuz is such an important component, is such a leverage point that should have been in the negotiations, but shouldn't be the first thing that's given away before the final agreement is done.
Yeah, look, I understand your point, but why did they win? They won because of the Strait of Hormuz. It wasn't because of the rockets, right?
Well, they won because no, that's not true. They decimated them with the rockets, bro.
Bro, they're not decimated. Look,
every
American
military
bases
base
got
is
hit.
absolutely if Iran's missiles weren't working, you
I'm
wouldn't.
not talking about American bases.
Sorry,
I'm not talking about American bases, because U.S. can move their troops, right?
No, U.S. bases have been decimated. Israel was hit very hard. The reason why those Gulf states went running, begging for mercy, was because of the barrage of attacks that were occurring. This is why UAE went running and gave money. I know they're pretending they never, but we all know they gave the money. There's the reason why UAE was there begging, Qatar was there begging, all these countries were there begging because of the attacks that they were basically receiving. So the missiles did have a huge impact. Now, I agree with you, Strait of Hormuz was more impactful. So I guess I'm just arguing for the sake of it. So I agree with you, Strait of Hormuz is more impactful. And so that's the point. Because the Strait of Hormuz is so impactful to basically alleviate the pressure from it and go back to square one before there's no real agreement is the argument of why Iranians are protesting on the streets. Part of it.
Yeah.
Can I jump in, Sully?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Haas. Go ahead.
Yeah, because yeah, go ahead, Haas. I want to hear what you said, actually.
Can I jump in?
Yeah. So go for it.
Have I got a lot of noise from the car, or is it too much,
No,
or is it I can wait?
It's fine.
Yeah, guys. So your friend Doctor, what's his name, was on the panel. There was I don't know, a few thousand people outside of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, just telling the Minister of Foreign Affairs that basically we're not happy. One of the main opposition leaders is a guy called Hamid Rezai. Spoke for 40 minutes. He was supposed to speak for 5, and he just laid out why was the parliament closed? Why is Ghalibaf, who's the head of the parliament, keeping the parliament closed? Why are they not allowing the actual members of parliament to get involved in the process? And the people are not happy with it. And there was people on the street there saying that tomorrow morning they're going to be going up to the parliament to fuck the place up. And that is people who are dressed in kafan, like the white clothes, the ones who are ready to die.
Why are they not happy, though? I think that's what we're trying to ask.
Why they're happy? Because they don't want to have any ceasefire with America. They want revenge for Ali Sayyid Khamenei, the Supreme Leader. They want revenge for Haj Qasem Soleimani. They want revenge for the kids of Minab. And also, they just don't believe Donald Trump or Israel is going to stick to this ceasefire. They don't believe that Israel will stop attacking Hezbollah. So they, I was supposed to give a speech tonight as well as part of the speakers, but I didn't because my back was hurting. I had to leave, and that guy, instead of talking for 5 minutes, spoke for 40 minutes. But I'm glad he did, because he touched on every point that mattered to the people. And there is no way that the people, the Hezbollah people, which is the most powerful, conservative group of people, with young people who are feral in their love for Hezbollah and for Lebanon and for Palestine, are not happy. And they're not happy because this guy Ghalibaf has stepped over the line by shutting down Parliament, and he is the head of Parliament. He's got one vote, as the guy said. He goes, same as everyone else, he's got one vote. And to shut Parliament down, you've got to have 3/4 of the members of Parliament to shut it down. They didn't have. Things been done illegally. And the fact that he's gone and signed that agreement without an agreement from the Parliament as well is not acceptable to the members of Parliament. There was like 6 or 7 members of Parliament who turned around and said, you can't do this. Ghalibaf, you can't do this. And they called him everything under the sun. So I don't think there's 2 things. One, I don't think it's going to last, because I think there's going to be a ceasefire breach by Israel. I have no doubt about that. I don't think anyone's got any doubt about that. And if they do that, then Iran's going to go kinetic. That's the end of the ceasefire, and we're back to square one of this day from last week or whatever. The second thing is, as soon as Parliament is summoned, the head of the Parliament, which is Ghalibaf, has got to tell the parliamentarians in what way and how was he legally allowed to make this deal, okay, without the say of the Parliament, that he shut down. He's broken the law. So there's legal sides, and also the Supreme Leader's got to agree to this. Now, Ghalibaf has said he has agreed to it, or is claiming to have, but we don't know if he has, because we haven't heard anything from him. And people are saying the last time the Supreme Leader said something, it was the 10 points. And the 10 points included never giving up the Straits of Hormuz. That's a pain pressure point for the world that is better than nuclear weapons. And Iran is not willing and should not be willing to give it up, because it gives it leverage on the world economy. So a lot of Iranians, and they are so astute, Iranian people politically, from young people to old people, are so politically astute that they get it, and they get everything, and they understand it, and they're not happy. And as I said,
can I ask you something, though?
Sure.
Wouldn't you got, not you, but the people of Iran rising up against the government be exactly what America and Israel want?
No, because the people who have made this deal are all, as far as the people are concerned, working with America and Israel. It won't be the government that will get thrown out. It'll be the ones who are the stooges of Israel and America. The
Hussein, I
government.
also have a question as an Iranian because I have been on Instagram and I'm now noticing a lot of anti government monarchists and MEK and the leftists who want the regime to change are also posting the recent objections by the Iranian people that are like saying, "Oh, Ghalibaf has to go," Mark Bar Pezeshkian, or etc. etc. They are posting it, and there are then other Iranians that I listen to their podcast or YouTube channels that are saying we need to be careful because there are certain people that have been seen infiltrating this recent objectionist movement to the recent deal or the MOU, and that they have been actually never present for the support of the government.
Let me just cut you off and just say, Pezeshkian has got fuck all power. He's got no military power. The people who've got the power are the Basij and the Sepah. And the
Hoz,
Ghalibaf gang and
can I
whatever
just ask,
else.
Hoz, we're live on YouTube from this space, so just
Yeah,
watch
sorry.
the F-bomb, please. No
Okay, I'm just
problem. Go
saying to you
ahead.
that the Ghalibaf and his gang are basically a part of the oligarchs, all right? And the oligarchs are not going to be able to carry on doing what they're doing the way they have done in the past. I get what you're saying about the MEK and the pound levy and whatever else, but there are not people who are willing to come out onto the streets. The pound levy people have been absolutely beaten. There's a lot more of them than I thought, by the way, but they're not willing to
Yep.
come onto the streets with the Basiji people and have a confrontation. So the last time they did that, they got properly smashed up and will get smashed up again because these people. The difference is there's something a group that call themselves Enqelabi, which means revolutionaries, and these guys are mental. Are like they are devoted to the revolution. And when I say mental, as in like there is no halfway house with these people, and they're not going to be willing to give up their government, the way they control things, to either MEK, Pahlavi, or Pezeshkian, or anybody else. And if as and when an attack comes in, which it will do, I think it will be the end of this reformist government because they've banked everything, just like they did back in the JCPO days, on Iran being able to make money, survive, and do better, and this, that, and the other. And it's going to be kinetic because there's no way that Israel, whether they have Netanyahu or someone else or whoever, will be able to stop their military from doing what they've got to do. They're just dogs,
So can I
war
just ask you a quick
dogs.
question, Hoz?
Rabid dogs.
Hoz, just
So
a quick question.
yes,
So the other way to look at this is, what if the statement by the Security Council is right, that there will be zero bombing in Lebanon, and we've got a week till the deal is signed as well, so they just give them the gap, and in that week, America's going to lift its blockade. Iran doesn't have to do anything. So at least for a minimum of a week, there is a kind of testing period to see if I don't know, later they can break it, and I do think they will. But isn't this a good thing that in the sense of Lebanon, zero bombs in Lebanon, you're not allowed to attack Lebanon, Lebanon is free, America removes its blockade, and after a week, if they're good boys, then we'll do the signing. Like, do you not think that bit's a good thing?
I think it would be a great thing if that was the case. The other thing you've got to realize is that the Iranian people do not want to give up the uranium. That's one thing they don't want to give up. And seriously, the Hormuz is something that these guys, the Basiji people, are not willing to give up. And I tell you, it's going to be a massive problem.
No, but that doesn't make sense.
Massive.
So the enriched uranium, that's going to be discussed later, and obviously we will get into specifics of what bits they won. But in terms of the specifically right now the deal,
Yeah.
and by the way, now everyone's going to think Suleiman switched, but my
Don't think
job is
about
to
it.
just
That was that.
because everyone's thinking, wait a second, you said the opposite first. I'm giving other counters because the whole point of the space is so people can really get their argument across. So I guess if you look at it from Ghalibaf's perspective, he's actually played a blinder because he's going to enforce the bombing of Lebanon, and he stopped the attacks on Lebanon. So now
Did he avenge the
Did he avenge what? Sorry, you
did
cut
he
off.
avenge the supreme leader?
Yeah, they've destroyed America. They've destroyed their bases.
They
They're going
didn't
to use the
kill. They
media.
did not avenge the supreme leader of Iran.
How would they avenge the? What could they do as an
Kill
extra?
Donald Trump
They're
and
not going to
Benjamin
kill him.
Netanyahu.
Wait,
Okay, I'm just
guys,
telling you.
disavow. But the point is, a disavow, guys. That's not the position of the space. But the point is, they will never do that. That's unachievable.
I'm going into a lift, by the way. So if I get cut off, you know why. Sully,
Yeah, it's unachievable. So,
I'm not telling you.
oh, you broke up. You broke up. You're in the left. You're
I'm
in the left.
telling you what the
Let him-
crowd said.
Oops. You're just in the left right now.
I'll come back after you've got off the other end. In the meantime, let me just give some really quick news. So Trump has said he's given an interview to New York Times on Netanyahu. He said Netanyahu is a very difficult guy. He should be very thankful to us for doing this, because if Iran had a nuclear weapon, Israel wouldn't be around for 2 hours. He also told the New York Times that if a US-Iran nuclear deal isn't reached, he would restart military attacks on Tehran or make the United States the guardian of the Middle East in return for 20% of the region's revenues. Sounds like the freaking mafia. He says he has reached the deal with Iran despite Netanyahu's objections, and strikes will resume if a nuclear accord isn't reached, and the Strait of Hormuz will be, quote, permanently toll-free. He said that they're still negotiating key details of the final nuclear agreement, including whether Tehran would suspend uranium enrichment for 15 to 20 years. He said that under any eventual deal, Iran would be restricted to low-level uranium enrichment that could never be used by the military. 15 to 20 years. What else?
So he's already conceding. That's hilarious. So just to be clear, he's already conceding that Iran's going to be able to enrich uranium, because remember, they wanted 0%.
Yeah. And this is him speculating, hinted he might settle for 15 years suspension, ideally 20 years, and they'll be able to enrich it at low levels.
That would be
Listen, we don't pay any attention to anything he says, Beatrix. Nothing.
No, I know. And nobody does. I assure you, nobody on this space does. It's just that we give the news. It's all schizophrenic. His news is completely schizophrenic. He says negotiators are working on a plan for Iran to suspend. I've read that out. UK, Germany, France, and Italy are reportedly ready to lift sanctions on Iran the moment the US and Iran memorandum of understanding is completed. They're willing to lift sanctions on Iran. I mean, look, a lot of what you're saying, Cos, I'm going to give the mic right back to you because you're out of the lift. I like, obviously, the last bit we disavow is from the position of the space, but generally the sentiments that you're sharing of how people feel, I see that. I feel that. Go ahead, Hoz.
Just to say, that's not me, yeah? I'm not saying I'm saying that. I'm saying to you, I was in a square where they were chanting for his death. That's what I'm saying to you. And that is, and it wasn't like 2 people, it was 2,000 people screaming for his death. And it wasn't death to America, it was naming the guy.
And
Yeah?
that's wrong. I think death to this and death to that.
Israel's doing the
as
same
a part
thing,
of his
Natus.
culture has to
Israel,
be.
Israel's
and-
saying the same thing.
Exactly.
There's
like-
Israelis on Telegram.
Israel's not doing the same thing. Israel
they're calling
actually
for the
does
death.
it.
They're calling
Actually,
for
Israel does
us.
it.
Exactly.
You don't understand what I'm saying. Israelis on Telegram are calling for the death of Donald Trump and for the rape of his daughter.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought you
because
meant
of
as
this
in
deal.
like Iranian leaders.
Yeah.
That's all right, Hoz. You can misunderstand Jonah and smash him anytime. Just you're fine with that. Let me just go to Zina really quickly. Yeah, go ahead. And I'm just going to go to Zina really quickly because I know that you're going to be getting an interview. And go ahead, Zina, really quickly, please. Go ahead.
Thanks. I think there's a couple things about these conversations that merit maybe further discussion. Maybe we can pick it up after when there's time. But one, the tweet or the social post that Trump put out saying, the one that Beatrix read out saying that, oh, and in 30 days we'll go get the nuclear dust, and I forgot what the exact verbiage of that was. Well, if the MOU was supposed to be 60 days, and part of the understanding of the MOU as I understood it was that the nuclear discussion would take place as part of the completion of the MOU, meaning this is one of the things that they'll be discussing during this period, this is already a declaration of intent to violate the MOU. Secondly, in all of this, there is something to be noted about the timing, because I think it was last week or maybe a few days ago. I don't know. It's all running together, but there was a statement saying that the technical centers for SpaceX in the region were viable targets for Iran, and then yesterday was the IPO, and so I'm wondering if, I'm not suggesting that on the Iranian dignitaries' part that their intention was less than, but I'm wondering if this agreement, this MOU, is kind of like, yeah, take whatever you want, we'll go along with it, yeah, whatever, just to get these things done, and knowing in full well that there was actually no intention to bring it in through fruition. And then the third and final thing, the speaker that spoke this morning, Hassan, sorry, I didn't remember his last name, and it was brought up a few speakers today. We're talking about kind of civil unrest, and Haz was talking about how, people are really activated about this, and I'm wondering if that was ultimately a long game for subterfuge or for weakening from the inside. Like, this is going back to kind of a long game. I'm not saying that this is from the Iranian side, but from the outside, from the US and from the Israeli side, to create a quote unquote Arab Spring, like we saw, in Egypt, and we saw throughout the region, where it's just the creation of chaos and allowing for the disorganization and toppling to get its end means, by any chance. But I know you said you were short on time, so I'll just cut there.
Thanks for that, Zena. Guys, if you're on the second YouTube channel, the link for the Moral Resistance channel is pinned. Come across there. We're going to have Larry Johnson on a second, and he does have an inside track on the negotiations. And there is a couple of questions I think you're not going to be happy about, because I think Larry's sources, and I want to clarify this, do think that the strait will be opened without a toll. So let's see. I'm not saying that he's going to say that. I just listened to one of his interviews where this claim was made, but not directly by Larry. So let's see what he's got to say. So this is going to be very important. That interview is pinned. We're going to continue going though, guys, on the space. So don't worry, I'm not going to end the space like I normally do. Obviously, when there's big news, I keep the space going. When there's less news, then we'll move across to YouTube. But we've got Larry Johnson coming on, so this is going to be really, really good. Okay, so let me just end the first. So if you're on the second YouTube stream, I'm about to end it right now. So come across to the first one, to the Moral Resistance.